Alrighty, and we are live for another episode of NOVAtazz Automotive Podcast, Season 2, Episode 27.
Is it
Oh,
27?
yeah, Episode 27, I think. Unless that might be the goof, but I'm
Yeah,
pretty
it's
sure
27.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I'm normally when I set these up, I just normally increase the number by one, so unless the one before it was wrong, normally I'm right.
You have two 26s and a 27.
I've done that before. I've had
No,
the
yeah, I think
wrong
I remember.
and the wrong one labeled. I've had ones where I've had, obviously two 27s because they were the same day and it was just or something screwed up. Either the whatever, something messed up. I see Estella Dragoon said hello, but I have no idea. That was there when I think I started the stream, so that might have been from before. So I don't know if anybody is absolutely here yet. I don't see anybody chit-chatting in the chit-chat. We have Desiree is still our stream boss, so Cletus has not kicked her off just yet.
Just yet.
Just yet. Well, speaking of Cletus, though, did you see he just posted a video about an hour ago trying to get Ruby above, below, into a 7-second pass.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
That new, what is it, 88, 104?
Big total. Spoiler alert, I'm not telling you what happened. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. May or may not have been carnage.
Uh-oh.
How's your...
I mean, Cletus is no stranger to carnage.
No. We definitely need to get you, even if it's one of those stupid little battery-operated little, like, beep-boop lights, we need to get you a light from in front. A diffused light source.
Wait a second, I think I might have something here.
And some of that might actually just... Yeah, if you can just shine that up at the bottom side of your thing... Well, that's not going to work.
Well, this one really ain't going to work.
Oh, no.
Yeah, let me see. What if I put it on top of my computer like that and just shine it at the wall?
Oh, that works. It works pretty good. Now, if the only thing you can do is dim your backlight, you would actually appear brighter.
I can't. I either have on or off.
On or off. We need to get you one of these ring lights.
I have... What is it? I got this little thing, but it doesn't work anymore, and I don't know if it's because of the batteries or what.
Probably because you touched it. Oh, crap.
I fixed this thing, damn it.
I did a boo-boo.
A boo-boo?
Yeah, I did a boo-boo. Do you see my boo-boo?
How much of a boo-boo?
That kind of boo-boo.
Oh, it's empty.
Well, it's empty, and it's not like it's empty like it had something in it and now it doesn't. I brought the mug up, and I forgot to bring up the liquid that goes in it.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That sucks. Let's see if I can let's see if I can rectify that problem, or if I might have to wait a little bit and then sneak away for a hot second. Let's ask the better half if she can help me out. Gotta use the P word. Anyway, so yeah, I saw that. I think I shared something with you earlier this week. I was watching some new channel, and it was it's not Stella. What was the brand of that? It was like a super kit car. That white one that I shared to you.
The what?
The white kit car. The supercar. The guy's building in his garage. Did I share that to you?
The kit car? You mean that Porsche Cayman?
No, not the Porsche Cayman. The only thing that was left of that Porsche Cayman was parts. The chassis was not Cayman anymore. There was an engine and chassis parts on it. That's about it. But he only used, I think the only thing that was left of the Porsche was the electronics, the engine and trans, and
trans and
I think
some other stuff.
No, not even the suspension. The suspension was not Porsche anymore either. I think the wheels. The wheels might have been still Porsche, but that basically he cut up a Porsche to snag the engine and the electronics out of it.
Oh, and the steering rack.
Okay, then the steering rack. But yeah, that was actually pretty cool.
How long ago did you share it with me?
Only a couple days ago I saw that. I did that. Um, maybe I meant to share it and I never did. But
It appears to be that way.
it was a kit car, and it was pretty cool.
I think I have a brighter light than this. This thing's
You
dusting
just
anyway.
need what do they call that? Forelight. Light just comes from in front of you, not behind you. Because if you have backlight, then you just look like
Oh dear.
a eyewitness interrogation. No, not eyewitness interrogation, but where they hide you because you're like you have important information. They don't want you getting killed.
Yeah, where you're just like a silhouette on the background.
Yeah, that's what you look like.
What the hell is it here? Get out of there.
Is it a Lucy?
No, there's just dust all over this thing because it's always on the floor.
No, see, this is the reason why you don't put that near your camera. I can't go back far enough. Is it under my subscriptions? Is it this one? No, it's not that one. I don't know. I can't just pull it up right now because although it's at the very top of my subscription list because I just subscribed to it not long ago on my actual desktop app. The way that the subscriptions work on the phone is different, so it's not at the top right there. It's in alphabetical order completely. Oh, but yeah. Anyway, that was really freaking cool. But basically, what he did is he got this giant crate dropped off in his front yard. Yeah. Body and chassis, wouldn't say done, but it's done enough that it can be assembled for shipping.
Yeah.
You got to do, you got to take it all apart anyway to add like the interior floor panels and stuff like that. It's just a tube chassis.
Yeah.
The bare tube chassis with the body on top of it, and then underneath of the one deck level inside the crate is all of your parts. He just started not long ago, so he's only been doing this for like two or 3 months now. So he's got it out of the crate. He's had the body off of it, and he's started to cut and trim all the interior aluminum panels that go on the inside. So cool. It literally comes as a big aluminum sheet, and you have like you ever built like a balsa wood model where it has all of the parts laid out, printed on the piece of balsa wood, and you have to cut them out?
No, but I know what you mean.
That's how it comes. It comes in aluminum sheets with the different parts laid out, and then you got to cut them out. But they're just like a rough thing, so like it'll have a rough triangle of this should be the rear bulkhead, but then you got to bring it in and you got to cut all the notches out for the different frame tubing and stuff like that.
Oh,
so like it doesn't have all of those things already pre-marked. It just has, this goes here and this is how big it should be for you to cut it, and then you got to fit it.
Yeah.
Which is actually better because then you don't accidentally cut something of bigger margin than what you actually need, because every hand-built chassis is slightly different by millimeters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like majorly different, but by millimeters. Because, things get laid and put in a jig.
Nothing's perfect.
Yeah, nothing's ever exactly perfect unless it's done by robots. Oh, because then they're like laser guided and shit, and you get laser precision and all that fun stuff. I cannot believe we are, what, how far are we into this already? I don't have anywhere to
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Why can't I see that? Oh, there it is, up on top. No, we are 20 minutes. Well, yeah, 10 minutes for us. 20 minutes total for the whole live stream because of the fact that there's the 10-minute startup time. Not a single comment. We're sitting here chit-chatting with ourselves.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Where you at? Let me bring this over here and put up our banner. We'll go with this one today. So anyway, yeah, I mean that was pretty cool. The fact that you basically get I would assume he needs to source out his own drivetrain. for
Probably.
that. Because I didn't see an engine and transmission in that box. I'm gonna assume that yeah, you have to source your own. I know you have to. I know he had to go out and go get his own sound deadening material and stuff like that. I think it's basically just all of the stuff to make it a rolling chassis,
Yeah.
minus wheels and tires. So like, I think all of the main components are in that.
Yeah, they give you all the stuff to get a chassis, and you got to source your own wheels and engine and whatnot.
Yeah, and so it gets you enough to get you going, and then because a lot of that stuff probably can be, depends on what you want to put in it, depends on where you want to race it. I do believe it's supposed to be for Group B track car.
Hmm.
It's a track car in a box.
Yeah.
It's a life size track car model. Well, it's not a model, but yeah, it's like when you get the little plastic kits when you're a kid. In fact, actually, I went looking for a kit at the. We were at the Michaels the other day, and I went looking in there, and I was like, they have like a whole bunch of kits, right? But they're all
Yeah.
the same ones. You had like 5 kits to choose from there, and I'm just like, well, as far as automotive, they had some ships
Yeah.
and planes and tanks and stuff too, but like they had a Ford Mustang, they had the legit kit car. I'm not sure if you can see that because it's black background, black car. There's actually a
You
Knight
can
Rider
see
kit
it.
car
But
there.
it's not like.
Um, but they had like a GT 500 old school Mustang. They had an old Chevy truck. They had the popular second gen or third gen, no, second gen, I guess it is. I guess they're considering, I forget what they consider the third gen. I don't know if that's just 34, 30, 73, 74 is considered third gen, even though I would consider that still second gen. But the popular style Nova, they had one of those there. They had an Impala. I should be looking this way considering the camera's over there. Well, you're over there and over here and over there. I've got 3 of you.
I'm sorry.
But anyway, so I have I went there and like they had a bunch of different stuff, but they didn't have like anything that I was really interested in. Like I want to take this home and build it. I think they had one of the Camaros that I'd already built, which obviously I don't have anymore. They had one of those there. I did that one really gorgeous. It was blue with the white stripes.
Yeah.
It was a RSSS Rally Camaro.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. They did have a charger there, but it was in the cheap, like snap together type stuff, like the old school chargers. Yeah, they had like the nice ones, the models that were really freaking cool looking. They were in like the either the metal body, so the pre-painted metal body ones.
Yeah.
And they're basically snapped together too. There's not a whole lot of detail built into the kit. It's not. It's kind of like these ones, where it looks good sitting there, but it's not something you want to actually like peek in and look at. But all of the cool cars were just snapped quick together, like no paint required ones, and it's like that's not kind of the point. I mean, it'd take me like 5-6 minutes to put that together, and then I'm bored.
Yeah,
I want
like,
something
oh,
that's
it's
going to
done,
take.
and you have like no sense of accomplishment.
Right, exactly. I want something that's going to take me a couple weeks to finish. Between letting paint dry and things like that. Though, I do know that. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, that one's warm. Are they both warm? Oh, that one's cold. Give me that one. You're a butt. But thank you. See, it pays to say please, even though she's still going to be a smart aleck about it.
It's an insider. It didn't have to be a cold one.
Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, so I got to watch what I say. Apparently, I said part of it right, but I didn't say all of it right.
Should have just brought up the warm one.
What?
So I should have just brought you the warm one.
You could have.
I mean,
It wouldn't have been much better than
Yes, I am.
though. It wouldn't have been much better than the warm one I have sitting there on the desk from last week that I never put back in the fridge.
Oh dear.
It's okay. They sit out anyway. I don't keep the whole case in the fridge. I normally only put a couple in the fridge at a time.
Yeah, like unless you got a big fridge, takes up a lot of space doing that.
Yep. Oh, we have a few visitors already. We have Hank the
Oh,
Meat Man. He has
we
popped
do.
in, and we have Grimm's Auto Service. I haven't seen him in a while. So we got those two guys. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. We do have 4 likes though. We have some other people in here that are hanging out with us that I haven't talked because said I only see 2 people in here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, we were talking about the kit car. Now, when I was a kid, I wouldn't say a kid because I was 15, 16. I always liked the Factory 5 Cobras.
Yeah.
Though the one that I really, really, really wanted, because they make the like Vicky's Fords and like the 3 and 5 window Ford coupes. They also make the Cobras, the AC Cobras.
Yeah.
But they also make the Daytona Cobras.
Daytona Cobra.
Yeah, we had one in we used to have them in the old Forza games.
Oh, that one.
The Aero Cobra. It was made for obviously for cutting through the wind. They have that big ass rear wing on them. The one that actually it's not a wing, it's a diffuser because it's built into it's like a ducktail. Oh, that's so good. Anyway, so that was like my dream kit car to get would have been the Daytona Cobra. Or Shelby Daytona, I think is what they're actually called. But the problem with that is, again, you have to source a lot of your own parts. The kit itself, I think, back in the early 2000s, the kit was like $13,000 to $19,000, depending what options you got.
Yeah, and that's probably no motor.
No, there's no motor, no trans, no. You have to. What they want you to do, as far as bare minimum requirements, is to get yourself a Fox Body Mustang donor car.
Oh.
So most of these kit cars, all of the Ford kit cars, are based off of a Fox Body chassis.
Oh.
So the chassis itself is all Factory 5, but like your steering components, your A-arms, your steering box, all of that stuff comes off the Fox.
All the suspension and steering and everything.
The rear end, all of that stuff comes directly.
Kind of like how what the hell is that thing? What's that thing we have? The Exoset. It's all based off of a Miata.
All right. So
they just decided to throw an LS3 into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's basically it. You basically what you're doing is you're taking it gives you this kit. You can either go get yourself a Fox Body Mustang out of the scrapyard and use that as your donor, or basically any new parts that would fit a Fox Body Mustang will work on this. So, if you wanted a racing suspension that is meant for a Fox Body Mustang, it would fit. You could get that brand new. Depends on your budget. Again, any engine that will drop into a Fox Body Mustang will drop into this thing. So get yourself a 302 or a 420, 429, today's day and age, Coyote motor.
Yeah. Whatever you want, really.
Yeah, basically. It's a tube suspension. So, I mean, it's a tubular thing. So basically, yeah, anything that you want, you could drop in there.
If it fits, it fits.
Yeah, most of the ones you see at the car shows are most likely a Factory 5 or some other variant. 90% of the time, you won't find an original Cobra at a car show.
Oh God, no.
Because if it's
if you're seeing an original Cobra at a car show, like it's probably gonna be like armed security detail or something.
Something. Mr. John says a 5.8 351. Oh my God, yes. Now I'm a Windsor guy. So if I was gonna go with a 351, I like the 351 Windsor. When I was growing up, my stepfather, part of the reason why I have the automotive bug, besides my mom, my stepfather, when I was growing up, he would do engine stuff and different stuff for his buddies, and his one buddy had a square body Ford from the early 90s. I think it was like a 92. Before they went to the roundy, somebody sat on my face truck. and it had a modern fuel injected Ford engine in it. And he put a 351 Windsor carbureted engine in it, completely rebuilt. Heads, cam, freaking. It had a decent sized lift on it. Had decent sized mud tires on it. Gorgeous blue. Very clean looking square body.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do they call those square body OBS Fords? I guess. But I don't understand. OBS stands for original body style, doesn't it? Isn't that what OBS stands for?
I don't know.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's what that. But old body style. But see, that's not even right either, because that's not what I would consider old body style. To me, old body style for a Ford or a Chevy would be like a 30s or 40s truck. Where they were rounded, they had the freaking big, humongous grills and bumpers on them. That's what I would consider old body. For me, those 80s and 90s trucks, which everybody is calling OBS or old body style, those to me are square bodies. That just might be because I'm like 37 years old and an old head or what, but to me that's a square body. Yeah. Old body would be, the big solid, the big solid step sides from like the 40s and 50s and 60s. Even I would consider a 50s and 60s square body-ish, even though they weren't really square. They were rounded and stuff, but
yeah.
You know what I mean? That classic body, I would consider that old body style before I would consider the 80s and 90s an old body.
Mm-hmm.
That's what always throws me off, because, like, I watch Street Speed and all them, and he calls his truck the OBS. And I'm like, OBS, as far as I know, that's original body style. And that's what we always called OBS, would be original body style. It would be the body style of when the vehicle was first introduced. So, if you're talking about an F100, or, because that was the original, I think it was an F100, was the original Ford. And that was back in like I want to say the 40s or 50s. They originally started calling them like the F100. I think it was the 60s-ish, 50s, 60s-ish body style. I think was the first F100.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Mr. John's saying that the 82 to 87 GM square body, 88 to 89 OBS, and the 99 plus the NBS. Oh, they're saying square body is 73 to 87. Yeah, I would say back to the 70s, the mid 70s. But yeah, I would consider them. I don't know what I would consider the 90s, but I wouldn't consider it an OBS. But then again, I'm so out of touch with what people call things anymore, because like when I grew up learning what things were called, that's completely different than what they do now.
Yeah.
I would just call them the 90s Chevy, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think you mean 88 to 98 as OBS. But I would prefer calling them like he says like the ones are cat eyes or whatever for the OBS, even though there's two different facelifts for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't consider it an OBS. An OBS to me is the original is the old school classic cars, classic trucks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Can you imagine calling Camaro an OBS Camaro? It doesn't make any sense. Because you just call it. I don't know what is wrong with just calling it what generation it is. As far as I'm concerned,
I don't know.
You know what I mean? That's the way we used to do it. It was just first, second, third, fourth, fifth gen. That's what we do with Camaros. The Trans Ams. That's a second gen Trans Am. It ran from 1970 to 1982. That's a second gen Camaro or Firebird. We didn't have an OBS Firebird. Miss John says it's funny how they call the Dodge the first gen, but then it's the first gen diesel. But it's the first gen diesel. Well, yeah, I mean they do that with Dodges. They don't call Dodges by OBS Dodge, which I again would consider the 70s or an 80s truck the OBS. Even though there was Dodges before that, but they didn't call them Rams. The first Ram was the square body. They didn't call them They didn't call the Dodge trucks Rams before that. I think they were called D and then a number before that. Mr. John, I feel sorry for you, but I don't. Not a fan of the third gen Firebird. Never have been. I just never liked the body style. The interiors always seemed really plasticky and tacky to me. They're granted there is a couple that I do like. Obviously, Kit is definitely a Firebird that I really enjoy. Now, third gen, it's got to be a Camaro. I am absolutely in love with the Z28s, the RSs, and the IROC Camaros from the 80s. I think that they got that body style better than Firebird and Formula, the Firebird Formula, or the Trans Am did, or it would be the GTA because they didn't even call them Trans Ams then; they were GTAs. I think that Chevy got the styling right in the late 80s, early 90s for the Camaro. I think they did. I don't like the noses that are on. The back end of the cars look great. The noses just they're especially that one with the hawk beak where it has the nose comes down into like it's weird shaped. It's always bothered me. And it's nothing wrong against the car. It's just my personal taste. I never liked the third gen Firebirds. Though I also didn't like the early fourth gen Firebirds.
Yeah.
98 to 2002, those cars are absolutely mean looking. And a lot of the change, it was all the front end. In 98, the front end bulges more in the front. And the way that they changed the front nose, it looks so much more aggressive. It looks like it's ready to pounce. I guess that's something that the third gens just lacked. They were really aerodynamic. They were really pointy and wedge shaped. I don't know. I didn't like them. It's a shitbox. Well, and again, like I said, it's your car. You love it. And that's exactly the point. That's what it is, and that's what they were going for. I mean, like I can't fault them for that. He said that it's aerodynamic hideaway headlights. Yes, that was what they were going for. You know, that was the only way they were going to make that car quick because they couldn't do it in the engine bay, was to make it streamlined. You know, they had the same options as the Camaro, which I think the biggest engine option was the 305. And they weren't making shit for power because of emissions, and they didn't understand fuel injection just yet, and things like that. So the cars made shit for power. But yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. He says he doesn't like the kit nose. Well, I like the kit nose. I think it just looked more aggressive. I like the way the headlights were configured on it. See, I don't like the third gen factory noses, but that's my opinion, and you have your opinions. And yeah, that is one of my dream cars, is the 98 to 2002. It's got to be a Trans Am, though. Can't be a Formula. It can't be a regular base bird. It's got to be the Trans Am. It's that whole aero package that's on that car. It just looks so mean and nasty. We have some stranger has wandered onto my channel here up on screen. Welcome aboard, Chris.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
We see we have the Peterbilt sign back.
Yes, we does.
But you have it backwards.
Unfortunately, yeah. I noticed it after I put it up, and I was like, yeah, the hell with it. I'm not going to change it now. I'm going to bed.
We all noticed immediately. it's backwards.
That's to keep the educated more educated, so they can try to figure out and practice their, otherwise impediments in speech.
I may or may not have dyslexia. I can read shit in all kinds of different directions. I can write.
Yeah, and I'm not going to point out if somebody really studies the sign, especially that way, if you use your imagination, you can see something in there.
We're not going there, Chris.
I'm not going there. I'm just saying people
You're
can use their own imagination and read it.
You were suggesting that I get demonetized.
Not at all. There's another word in there. It ain't got nothing nasty or nothing. There's people just got to study it for themselves.
Mr. John, I'm going to have to disagree with you again. I think the 2002 CETAs were absolutely hideous. I could not stand the graphics package that they used on those cars. It looked like a Hot Wheels car.
Well, some people like Hot Wheels cars.
Well, yeah. Again, it's one of those ones that I disagree with. And, we're all allowed our own opinions. And, and obviously somebody's got to love those 2002 CETAs. Somebody has to, because there's people out there that want them. I'm not one.
There's a lot better collector TAs out there than that collector edition.
Yeah, that one's, I would love to take a completely blacked out, nothing special, base 2002 Trans Am, black on black, then I would have taken the 2002 CETA. The 89 TTDA. Again, it's a third gen. I have a friend of mine that absolutely loves that car. Though again, not me.
Painting the thing to drive around so you look like Bloody Big Bird would be as bad as taking a custom muscle car and painting the son of a bitch Barney purple.
Bright yellow is not a Firebird color. Why would they think, red, blue, black, white would have all been better colors for that car. And got rid of the striping package on that car because it was gross. Again, my opinion, not saying you can't have your own or that you can't love it, but in my opinion, bright yellow was an absolutely hideous color for that car. Bright yellow on a Camaro? Sure, go for it. That's a Camaro color. You got a fanboy down there.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
But to me, the bright yellow.
Think as much as I should.
It wasn't the right color for that car. Even silver would have been better.
And riding around in one of them does not implore or give you any incentive to start singing "You Are My Sunshine."
Oh my God.
I don't know where they were going with that car. Why? I mean, was there a reason behind why they made it yellow? Or did they just decide to pick a color out of the hat and decide that it was going to be yellow?
Yeah, you never know.
Because I don't think they offered it in any other color than the yellow.
Maybe they just took the Henry Ford stance on it. You can have it in any color as long as it's yellow.
Didn't they also come with that hideous chrome wheels on that car too? Or were they the solid white ones?
Barbie pink would have went over better than that yellow.
But I forget. No, I hate to tell you this. The Firehawk did not come in only red. I'm pretty sure there are black Firehawks out there.
Yep.
Firehawks was an option after you bought your car. So you could buy the Firehawk in any color you wanted and had the performance package added to it. Because that was not a factory. It was a factory offered option, but it was not done by the factory. So you could have that. Most people got the Firehawk in red.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever seen a black Firehawk, there's a black Firehawk that I know that has a black paint with a red interior, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The Firehawk came with a hell of a lot more than just a Corvette 6-speed. Though, wait. No, that doesn't. I don't know how they could have gone. Did they actually have the 6-speed all the way in the back on the Firehawks? Did they run the monotube?
Nah, I believe it was standard.
Because he's saying it has a 6-speed
Mounted
Corvette.
right out the back of the engine.
Yeah,
I
and it wouldn't be a
think...
Corvette 6-speed because, like I said, the Corvette
What year?
transmissions were complete. The Firehawks were the mid to late 90s.
When did the 5th gen Corvette start? 97?
5th gen. Yeah, somewhere
And it
around
was-
there. 96.
Did the 4th gen Corvette come with the 6-speed?
Well, either way,
Live.
they're all rear transmissions. The transmission attached to the rear attached to the independent rear suspension.
Center section.
Center
Even on the
section.
4th gen?
Yeah.
I thought they didn't do that until the 5th gen.
The one in the 80s. That started
Well,
in the 80s. So the 84. 97 was the C5. Well, the T56, yeah, it was in all the Corvettes, but again, they ran the T56 in a lot of cars. I mean, geez, I do believe some foreign cars even ran the T56. That wasn't a GM specific transmission.
No, GM. Well, car companies haven't made their own transmissions in a while.
Yeah.
It was
Now they
It
just
was
pawn
a
off
very
on other companies.
economical and strong 5-speed, and everybody grabbed them.
Mm-hmm. The Camaros had them, the Firebirds had them, and you didn't have to have a Firehawk to have one of those either. Oh boy, Spoopy Girl has invaded the chat.
Oh dear.
But I mean, there was a lot more that made the Firehawks better other than the transmission. The Firehawks had a completely different suspension. The engine
Shock
was
and tuning
tuned-
package, tune
Yep.
springs,
the engine,
tuning package in the engine.
Yep, the engine was completely tuned different. It had an extra 60 some horsepower.
Yeah, I mean, bigger fuel line, stronger fuel pump.
Yeah, the car was
pressure.
completely overhauled. It wasn't even. I mean, it started out as a Firebird, but there wasn't. It's almost like getting a Firebird today, where they start out with a base Camaro, and then they basically just rip the whole car apart, and there's not much
Buy
left
base
of that
Camaro
Camaro.
and send it to Trans Am specialists. Say,
Yeah.
make what General Motors is too bloody stupid to do.
Yeah, and yeah, there's not much of that Camaro left by the time it rolls out as a Firebird.
Just the shell.
Yep. The seats, the interior is completely different. Most of the body panels are different. The engine is pulled out and gone over, re-overhauled. There isn't much left of that Camaro. Which is why I find it funny because, I mean, it sucks that they still have to leave Camaro on the VIN, on the title, because it's like so not a Camaro anymore. Spoops.
And what I laugh the most about that, you'll hear people just scream and bitch and moan and complain. Well, it's not a real Pontiac. It's just a Camaro. Hey, dumbass. Guess what?
Go watch how they looked at it. I mean, that's the way it's been since
The
day one.
The original Firebird was based off the Camaro, and you know what? The Firebird kicked the Camaro's ass. Always has, always will.
No, the Camaro didn't kick the Firebird's ass. The Firebird kicked the Camaro.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The Firebird always kicked the Camaro's ass.
That's the way it's been ever since day one. The Camaro and the Firebird have shared the same body.
Same body structure. Body structure and framing components.
Right. Now, up until the 80s, up until 83, that was pretty much all they shared. In 83, probably up until the 90s, they shared pretty much whole drivetrains.
Yeah.
I know that there was differences in the engine tuning and stuff between the Camaro and Firebird when it came to the 90s. Though they did have the same engines and transmissions and stuff, but the tuning was different. Again, those two cars were also based to do different things. The Camaro was more about straight line speed and horsepower versus the Firebirds were always about cornering and handling. Not that they didn't have anything lacking in the speed and power aspect of it.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. I mean, look at the following you got, out of Mr. DeLorean's thinking when he said, well, I want to build the Banshee. And GM told him, you're not building a 2-seat roadster because it'll compete with the Corvette. You want to build something, build this. So he built a 4-seat car that still went out and kicked the Corvette's ass. And then
Corvette stole the Corvette then stole the fucking plans for the Banshee and used it for the Corvette.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if anybody's in love with a second or third gen Corvette, you basically had what Mr. DeLorean wanted for the Trans Am.
Welcome to the Stingray when it was introduced.
Yep, that was the Banshee.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. The 67 Corvette was obviously copied off the Banshee. It was fucking dead ringer. I mean, headlights, taillights, from front to nose, that car is the Banshee. It was what they wouldn't let DeLorean build, and what the Firebird was supposed to be.
Now, did they use every bit of his plans, or did he keep some of it to himself? They just
I don't know
body
enough that
structure,
much.
didn't they?
Yeah, I know they used the body structure. Now, as far as suspension
I would bet
and
as
stuff
far
like
as
that,
his tuning and suspension stuff he had planned, they didn't have any idea what it was, because that's what he used in the Birds, probably.
Right. They had Firebird prototypes back in the 50s. I think Pontiac always had one up in the... but that's because Pontiac has always had one up on almost every other GM vehicle, except for maybe the Corvette, and only because they wouldn't let them.
Just say that when the first Vets come out, they were basically dogs. They didn't handle for crap.
No.
No, the Corvette was just like personal luxury car. No, wait, no. That's not what they said.
I mean, it was
like a luxury sports car. It wasn't really supposed to be like super hyper duper fast, but it was just like, let's stick a straight 6 in this thing and throw an automatic in it and sell it. And they did.
Well,
I got money. Look what I'm driving.
Yeah, the original Corvette was supposed to be a secretary's car. Just like the Mustang.
And now, like, seeing one is like, you may as well just say you saw a unicorn because it's about as rare.
But the funny thing is you got all these people bitching when they went to the C8 to the mid-engine. I mean, yeah, the C8, the Corvette was always, I would say from the late 60s, they were trying to go mid-engine with that car all the way back then. They just couldn't figure out how to do it and make it cost-effective and run good.
The Ford GT, when they did that to run Le Mans, were those built as a mid-engine car?
Yeah.
Or are they a front engine?
They're mid-engine.
Okay, so the vet basically wanted, because Ford, let's face it,
Ford
in the
was
racing
going
circle
after
and that
Ferrari.
thing, Ford went after Ferrari, but it got the attention of everybody here, and vet wanted to emulate. Would that be the right word?
Would be the right word.
The GT 500, and try to have a vehicle that would compete with.
There is a really good documentary out there. I think you can find it on YouTube. I'm not positive.
Ford versus Ferrari?
No. This is about just about the Corvette mid-engine and the road to get to the C8. And I think this came out before the C8. But I refound it because of the C8. But there's a documentary out there that follows from when GM first started trying to research and development a mid-engine sports car. And yes, it was supposed to be the Corvette.
They built a couple of prototypes that they took to a car show just to get public opinion, didn't they?
They built they weren't prototypes. They were prototypes, but they weren't for the show. They built actual working mid-engine Corvettes all the way back at least the 70s.
Okay.
That were actually
on the track. Did they use it racing somewhere, or
they never made it to a track. They were actual solid cars that were on a track but never in competition.
Okay.
So they were meant to be in competition, never made it far enough. I
mean, everybody's screaming about them going mid-engine with this new car. I mean, all the so-called quote-unquote purists did the same thing when they got rid of the flip-over headlights and went to the bubble gum on the front of it with the big clear shield.
What, the C6?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the vet community had an absolute shit
but those
conniption
headlights,
when they introduced that
so
one.
scream Ferrari. The C6 headlights just scream Ferrari. They scream, what is it? The Ferrari. I don't even know what it is. Late 90s.
The 575.
Maybe. I don't know.
Hang on a second. Let me.
But yeah, they scream Ferrari. They scream, 90s Ferrari. Not like
especially painted red.
Yeah, especially when those cars are painted red like Ruby.
Oh.
But no, and the thing is he said 2020 Fiero. I mean, yeah, I guess that's a dig. But the thing is there's nothing to sniff at the Camaro. I mean, at the Corvette. I mean, am I personally a super fan of the way that the C8 Corvette looks? No, not particularly. Do I respect the C8? Yeah, I do. But the funny thing is, if you're getting all huffy about the way the Corvettes looked up until the C8, well, again, all of that lineage comes from DeLorean and the Banshee. So you just have a glorified freaking, what should have been Trans Am. It hasn't technically been a Corvette since, like the early 60s?
Yeah, probably 63.
Because every single design after that has been based off of that Stingray look.
I mean, look at the one they built. The Mako Shark Vet that they built.
Yeah. Well, that was still a Banshee.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you've liked Corvettes since that generation, well, then you're secretly a closet Trans Am fan.
To their credit, they have built a 200-mile-an-hour look-alike supercar from Europe for less than $100K.
It's a fucking awesome car. I cannot wait till people can get it unlocked and actually start playing with it.
Just that car, just for like the sheer 0 to 60 of it, you're not going to find a car for a similar price that's going to reach it as quickly.
Like I said, as much as I don't like the car as far as some of its styling cues, the car is a beast.
Yeah,
and the thing is, it's
the performance aspect of it is just.
And the thing is, it's a beast.
What did the original Shelby? When Carroll Shelby built the Cobra Roadster, what was the zero? Anybody know the 0-60 times on that was?
Hang on, let me Google it real quick.
I mean, because when he brought that out, it was a badass car.
Well, all it was the body actually came from a British company called AC. They made the Cobra. The only thing that Carroll Shelby did is he put a Ford 427 in it.
Yeah, it was a Bristol.
Yeah.
4.2 seconds, by the way.
So there's not been anything built that production.
But the thing is,
without extensive.
Well,
factory built with a 0 to 60 times like the C8 does.
But like technically, the AC Bristol Cobra wasn't a production car either.
Well, no.
He took production cars and stuffed V8s in them. That's not
it was a
production car.
It was a street legal race car.
They had V8s in them already, but he just put a bigger one in.
Huh?
I think the Bristol. I think the AC Cobra had a V8 in it already. He just put Carroll Shelby just put a bigger one in.
It wasn't an AC Cobra. They were called Bristols. They were AC Bristols, and they had 4 cylinders in them. It was a European car, and they went out of business, and he bought all of their chassis and started dumping V8s in them.
They were trying to compete with the MGs.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. On the Wikipedia page, granted, take this for what you will, but
Wikipedia is not always correct either.
I could fire up Gran Turismo right now, and it'll tell me exactly what the fuck came in them.
Right?
Yeah, you don't think
you're talking about the original AC
Look at this
Cobras.
shit. This shit does not lie.
Yeah, but you're talking about the original AC Cobras. But what was the AC Cobra before they were AC Cobras? They were Bristols. And you got to look at what originally came in an AC Bristol. What happened was, like I said, he bought the chassis and the bodies, and then made his own car out of them. But originally, they rolled off the factory as an AC Bristol, which had 4 cylinders in them, because it was a little tiny European sport, 2-seater.
He dropped the 289 in it and called it a luxury car, whatever you call it. I mean, even with the 289, they were badass because it was his 289.
Yeah, they were originally a Ford small block. And they were quick as the Ford small block. And then you strap a 427 big block in there, and then you're just like, freaking, hold on, let me, my pants are still back there somewhere.
It's like all the Yenkos, you know, the Chevelles and the Novas and the Camaros that Yenko over there and what's his bucket PA built back in the day.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, originally they were Bristols. So they were a little 4-cylinder, 2-seater country car.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did you get them? Yep, you got it. I got. Hold on. Let me. I gotta. Let's see.
How's it going, guys?
Welcome aboard. Thank you for Thank you for the super chat.
Oh well, you know I gotta take my throne back there.
Yeah, I'm just sending something to somebody. But yeah, again, like, you know, we were talking about the Corvettes and you know the Cobras. The other thing is way back the Cobra was not a heavy car. I mean, it weighed next to nothing. So to get
2,100 pounds or something like that,
4.2. To get that kind of an acceleration, you don't need as much horsepower. You know.
No.
The thing is to get a 600 horsepower fucking 2-ton fucking Tony Corvette to get, you know, a sub 4-second time. You know, that's in today's day and age, that's the reason why we haven't seen times like that, because the cars are too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's too much in them. I mean, between the luxury stuff and the safety features and the electronics and all that, they're just too heavy. Yeah. So it takes a lot more power.
Come on, call it for what it is.
They're bloated and overweight.
Too much government influence.
Something.
Yeah.
Like a 5,000 pound Challenger. Yeah, pretty much.
Just about.
The Demon, though, wasn't pretty good. I mean, how much they freaking lightened that car to make the Demon. And the thing is, the problem with Dodge is they went and took, as she says, Desiree says, boo. Why am I hearing music?
Someone's phone's ringing.
Yeah, let me see if it's on mine. What about now?
I still barely hear it. I don't know what it is. But, you know, the thing is fighting weight for them, and the thing is this is still a base model Corvette. The C8 is still a base model.
Yeah.
So it's the no thrills, no big power, no whatever. It's a base model.
No thrills, 0 to 60 in just under 3 seconds.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If that's the no thrills version of this car.
But what's it going to be if they do it like a Z06 or ZR1 or whatever?
Yeah, what's the ZR1 Corvette going to be?
Their top performance flagship is going to be.
I don't think they'll be able to improve on the 0 to 60 too much, but it's going to improve everywhere else. You know, like top speed,
braking,
cornering G's, braking.
Exactly.
Did you know actually the C8 Corvette is? No, Nat, get out of here. But the C8 Corvette has a little bit worse braking than the C7.
Well, it's because it's heavier, and the weight distribution.
No, it's not because of that. What they found out is when they were testing the car, that when the drivers would get on the brakes like really hard going into a corner, the rear end would get twitchy, as you know a car would do. So to lighten up on that, they made it so that the rear brakes don't grab the rotors as hard.
Yeah, so they compensate.
So the C8 has a 7-foot worse stopping distance from 60 miles an hour than the C7.
Instead of trying to correct the actual issue with suspension changes.
I mean, they probably could have, but then they would have had to change other stuff, and I gotcha that time.
I ain't gonna lie. I have entered to win Street Speed's C8, and I am not going to bitch if I get it.
Well, I wouldn't either.
Right? Because I mean,
if you wanted to bitch about it, I'd take it off your hands.
The C8 that he has, I mean, granted, it is a base model. I don't think it's. If it has an interior upgrade package, it's only the first tier.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he said that car MSRP is for around 80. The one that he's giving away now, the white one that's right now was blue. I think he's saying it, and then they have a Corsa exhaust on it, which those aren't cheap. It's got some goodies on it. So yeah, I mean, it's not a bad car. I mean, it's just like me saying, you know,
There's another one.
But to go back to Mr. John's comment about the 5,000 pound Challenger, their problem with that is they went with a luxury car chassis. I mean, that's a Chrysler 300 with a Challenger body on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was their problem. They could have gone, I mean, that was originally supposed to be the Charger, which is a full-size bodied car. The Challenger was never supposed to be a full-size bodied car. It's supposed to be a lighter car. But I couldn't think of anything that they could have put the Challenger on that they have currently that would have been a better fit. I don't think I can't think of anything that they have that would have been a better fit for the Challenger.
You don't think the Avenger would have done better?
No, the
It's a
Avenger
front-wheel
doesn't
drive
have
platform.
right. It doesn't have the platform big enough to support the engine and trans and the horsepower. And like I said, it's a front-wheel drive platform, so it's not built for. They don't have any other rear front engine rear-wheel drive platforms. Other than the Chrysler 300.
I guess they could make a front-wheel drive Challenger. That'd be pretty stupid, huh?
Well, again, that would have been like the Dodge. What they fucking turned the Neon into, the Dart.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Because technically, the Dart and the Challenger are basically the same body style or the same chassis style.
Well, they did that with the Dart, and then they kind of be like Chevy did back when they changed the Nova over to the little car.
Well, no, because that's
just a bad
completely
idea.
different. When they changed the Nova over to the little car, they went with a completely different chassis. It's no longer the X body chassis. They went with the European little front wheel drive. What the hell was it? Was it it wasn't a Toyota?
Yeah, I think it was a Toyota.
Was it a Toyota?
Toyota Corolla.
I'm pretty sure it
Yeah.
was.
So I mean, that's a little different. They just threw the name on it. Whereas when they went from the Neon to the Dart, that is still basically a Neon chassis.
No,
They did a name change.
Do you know what the new Dodge Dart actually is?
What is it?
It's a Fiat.
Really? So they did.
The new one.
What was the Dodge?
Yeah, the new one is a Fiat.
What was the
But
Dodge
it didn't
Neon
come
chassis?
out like that. When it came back out, it was based on the Neon. When it had originally came back out, wasn't 08 or something like that. It was based on the Neon. It might be a Fiat now, but they didn't own Fiat back then.
Yeah,
let's call them all for what they were.
Well, I guess really
ridiculous.
Fiat owns part of them.
Wait.
It was them trying to freaking recapture the same thing that they did with the other thing by bringing back an old name title, but they did it wrong. You know, you can't bring something back that, has the heritage of the Dart and put it basically in the same slot. Okay, maybe it may not have been the same chassis, but it's the same. It was the Neon.
Very similar to it.
The
Dodge
Dart. They didn't make the new Dart until 2012.
Right, but it filled the spot for the Neon.
When did United Auto Workers and Fiat take over Dodge?
There was a merger between Fiat and Chrysler. Now it's FCA, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles.
Yeah, well, United Auto Workers owns half of it, so
yeah,
that shows you they have too much money. But
it's just like the Saturn Sky and the Opel, basically the same car. A lot of the new Ford stuff has a lot of Aston Martin stuff in it. That's why they take over these companies, just to grab up their freaking secrets and their technology, and then they're done with them. That's what happened with Saturn. They didn't buy Saturn because, whatever. They bought Saturn because they want the technology Saturn had.
Who bought Saturn? Hold on. I guess I didn't
GM bought
Saturn went under. No one bought them.
Well, I thought they developed Saturn, like the workers of
Saturn was an independent company, and GM bought them out, and then it went under because they didn't give a shit about. See, after GM bought Saturn, they didn't care about Saturn. They wanted the information. They wanted what Saturn had before they joined GM.
Well,
it's like a lot of other
Saturn
companies.
was its own company, but it was owned by GM.
Not originally.
Let me look it up here.
I mean that's also
Government
like
motors.
look at what come on Mr. E battery guy right now. Why is my brain always got a shit?
Elon Musk.
Tesla?
Yeah.
You look at what he's doing. Look at the companies he's buying up now and why he's buying them up. He just bought a battery company not long ago for their battery technology. You really think he's going to give a shit about that company after he saps all their secrets out of them? No. As soon as he has all of their information, he's going to let that company die.
So, in January of 1985, Saturn was developed as a subsidiary of General Motors to compete with the Japanese imports. And then in 1998, went into 1999, that actually merged with GM and became, instead of it being its own company, it went into GM.
But yeah, it's like a lot of companies though. They buy up other companies for their secrets and their technologies, or if they become too much of a competition. You know,
Well,
if I can't beat you or make you freaking bend to my will, I'll buy you out.
Well, I mean, it also makes sense for Elon to do that because now he's got a dedicated company, like a company just to build batteries for his cars.
He's got
all their machining, all their everything.
He has several. But the thing is, it's also a scary thing. Okay, just like anything else that ends up with a monopoly or whatever else, it never
That's why
ends
there's
up
laws
becoming
on the books about monopolies.
It never ends up being a good thing for the consumer.
Yeah.
The consumer.
And you know, that's the bad thing with Amazon. That's the bad thing with when Walmart took over. I mean, just look at the damage that Walmart did when Walmart got big.
Yeah.
How many competitive freaking markets do you have in your area other than Walmart? Not many. You realize in the early 90s how many you would have? You would have like 5 or 6 different places to go in one town. And with that, you end up with price competition. Price competition keeps the price down. You know, and it also keeps people honest about their quality, because if you don't have good quality, they're going to go to one of the other stores.
Well, and then also in the automotive field, not only it keeps the price down, but it also stimulates
diversity,
innovation.
Yeah. If you just look at iPhone and iPhone versus Android, they have all these different companies able to make phones for Android, and look at the innovation and stuff you have with Android versus iPhone. Now, iPhone waits until everything is ironed out before they come out with the new stuff.
And then they claim it as being new, sure.
Yeah, meanwhile, Android's had it out for several years. It may have been buggy, you know.
Yeah,
but
they had it.
But they had it. It was something new, and we probably wouldn't have had it if the Android users hadn't or the Android developing companies hadn't come up with it.
Sure.
You got the same thing with AMD and Intel.
Yeah.
Well, AMD and everyone else. You know, look at all those other NVIDIA and Intel and how complacent they got with their their CPUs and different things because they had no competition.
Well, and Sony, back before my time, Sony tried that with their, I forgot what it wasn't VHS, it was something else they tried.
Oh, the
Betamax.
What?
Yeah, Betamax.
Well, you had Betamax, and then you also
they tried it, and they cornered the market, but then everybody else made VHS, and so many other people made it so much cheaper that they just got left behind.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it for Betamax.
You had Laserdisc versus CD.
Yeah.
Laserdisc was a freaking awesome platform. If you've ever seen a video on a Laserdisc, it was they were about the size of a record disc.
Yeah, but it's like it looks like a CD. I mean,
right, and it would pack enough information on them that you could watch what is technically like 4K today back then. You know, it was they were doing the IMAX films. The IMAX films for, like National Geographic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what they came on, was those big laser discs, because a regular disc could not pack enough information on it to be able to display that video.
But the price difference between a DVD and a laser disc was,
It was just way too it was too far advanced for
Yeah, for
economic
its time.
reasons.
Average household.
Yeah. I mean, that
Yeah.
was like way back when. I forget what system it is, and I always forget. My buddy, his dad was rich. Geez, this was part of the reason why I love the third gen IROCs and stuff. The same buddy, his dad had a that teal green IROC with the tan interior. Oh, I love the T-tops and everything. I love that car. But his dad owned that. But like I used to go visit their house. Their whole basement, they had probably an 8 by 10-foot table. It was completely a mound of Legos. Now, Legos are expensive. To have that many freaking Legos, and they weren't just like the basic generic Legos. They were all the different like Lego kits. So all the like weird like bendy
Back then, they
ones
couldn't really have generic Legos because they own the patent. Stopped everybody from
I don't
making
mean
anything
generic
similar.
Legos as in like a different brand. I mean generic Legos as just in your basic building blocks.
Right.
I mean, they had all of the specialty kits with like the Dayglow rods and the space stats and all. You know, they had all the weird sets from the mid '90s, early mid '90s. But they also had, this is back when I had like an original Nintendo, Super Nintendo was out. They had a system out that hands down beat the graphics of Super Nintendo at that time.
Sega. Super
Even
and Sega was pretty competitive, but there was another one.
I think Sega was just coming out at that time. The Genesis had just came out. They had the Genesis, but they had a system out that it used things that looked like baseball cards.
Baseball cards, like
Looked like the game was on what looked like a baseball card, and you would slide it in and you would click it into place, and the graphics on that system totally blew anything away that I had seen. I mean, they were like PS1 style graphics before PlayStation ever came out.
Was
and like
it the?
I don't know, I had some weird freaking like number name.
TurboGrafx 16.
Maybe, I don't know. It was absolutely gorgeous.
What
the games were gorgeous.
What year was this?
Mid '90s.
You said it was same like the
95,
same
96.
as 95, 96.
Somewhere back
And you
then.
said it came out about the same time as the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, it was like you said, it was out around that time, so it would be.
Well, it had to be earlier than 95, 96 because the Nintendo 64 came out in like 97. So.
Well, I mean, it could have been 96, but his friend could have still had it too.
Yeah, exactly.
So that'd be the fourth generation of video game consoles. That's the TurboGrafx 16, Sega Genesis, Neo Geo, Super Nintendo.
It would probably be the TurboGrafx then. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the cartridges look like, but they just looked like little baseball cards. It was freaking. I was blown away when he showed me this. It was cool. The games were freaking way far advanced than anything I had played at that time. But yeah, it's just stuff like that. Is just I don't even know why we got on this subject. I've completely forgotten where we came from.
Wait.
Well, we're just talking about things that
arcade card.
Talking about things that are different. We were talking about Saturn and GM and all that, and the Sky.
See if I can find something.
We're talking about car companies going under, blah blah blah.
Oh,
video games.
This has been all over the place. Let's see. 90s video game. Oh, that's not good. Of course, we're looking at all this stuff instead of chit chatting. I don't know if this one's it.
Well, and then on game systems,
Yeah, you know what? Actually,
anyway,
that is.
after
It's the TurboGrafx 16 because there's the card slot.
Well, from what I read about that is
Looks like it came out in '89.
Commodore 64, huh?
Oh, that's old school.
baby.
Don't run out of cassette tapes.
Oh, it was capable of playing CD-ROM games with an optional add-on.
That's kind of like the Sega CD. Did
Something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that thing was freaking amazing. At least as far as I was concerned, the fact of what that thing was capable of doing compared to what and the thing is, it's not like, okay, Nintendo, you had these big ass freaking cartridges, even for the NES, the Super NES and stuff. The Genesis, same thing. You had these big bulky cartridges. Here,
which I don't understand why, because the chip wasn't that big.
Because it's
No,
looks.
but they probably wanted there to be like, some room, like in case you drop it, you don't like smack the board up against the side of it and have something pop off.
They were pretty sturdy. Yeah.
Yeah, but those.
Well,
big
Christ, I could drop my Xbox One right now and it probably wouldn't work. But those Nintendo 64s, you could drop one of them big ass TVs on it and be like, I don't give a fuck.
But
my Xbox did an update the other day and I had to reset it.
I know, right?
What takes up more room and display area in a store? A little tiny baseball card, or a box with a big cartridge in it? You see what I mean? There's more surface area. I mean, you see they do it all the time. Why do our cereals still come in a big ass box and yet only like 2/3 of the box?
Yeah, they made the box thinner, but it's just the same size.
They make it big because the bigger it is, the more surface area it is, the more your eyes are going to be attracted to it.
Sure.
You know what I've noticed that companies are doing? Hey, wait, hang on. Actually, I can demonstrate this, but I got to go get something.
You mean like
Be right back.
You mean like peanut butter cans with the whole inside out, really hollowed up?
Yes, I didn't even have to go up and get the thing.
There's soap bottles where it's basically like a ring and the center is completely freaking hollow.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's all marketing. It makes you look like you're getting more for less, and also the bigger the bottle, the more likely your eye is going to be attracted to it.
Mm-hmm. Soda companies have raised their price for 20-ounce sodas right at $2 now.
Yeah,
they've
always done that.
But then a 24-ounce is 5 cents more. But they're trying to make you feel like you're getting a good deal. But I remember when a 20-ounce was 50 cents.
Well, I remember when you could get a can of soda in a vending machine for 25 cents.
Yeah.
I remember they don't do it anymore, unfortunately. But
20-ounce bottles used to be $1 in the vending machines.
My Walmart had, I don't have any of the bottles here, but like a 24-ounce soda bottle, $1.68. You could go back to sporting goods, you can get like the big, like 1.5-liter ones, $1, and they're cooled. They don't do it anymore though, and I'm like, how? Like, I mean, I can see why, because everyone's going for the $1 one where you got 50% more, versus this little thing where they want you to spend another 68 cents for getting half as much as the other one. Like, why?
Right. Well, do you remember when they had 3 liters? I mean, we went to the Dollar General.
Dollar store still carried the 3 liters.
Yeah.
The Dollar General still has 3 liter. It's off-brand, but
yeah, they've always had.
Who cares? It's 3 liters.
Right. Which my kids was like, they were like, wow, would they have 2 liters if they have? Anyway, it's like everything used to have 3 liter. Like nobody bought a 2 liter back then.
Right. Christ, now you can get soda bottles bigger than most cars' engines. Like, good Christ.
Yeah, buy two. Well, what'd you get? 6 liter.
All right, well, we got enough people in here. We're sitting at. It looks like we're sitting at like 6 people in the chat, and there are 4 of us up here. So, we're gonna play our first little game here.
Sweet Jesus.
What's in the cup? We're not gonna start with Chris because Chris is always. Oh no, shrink that. There we go.
Depends on the size of the cup.
Oh no.
Well, mine's empty.
I'm doing all kinds of
Let's
things.
see. So far, we got a couple bottles of water. We killed a cup of coffee, and we had 2 of those. Well, one was a chocolate, the for real milkshake machine thing.
Oh
We had a
yeah, I know
chocolate
those
shake.
things.
Yeah, chocolate shake and one of the strawberry banana fruit smoothies.
Ugh.
Damn.
So we're stuck with water now.
Well, see, I mean, yours wasn't that long. All right, so we'll go to Cletus. What do you got, Cletus?
Actually, mine's empty. I need to get some water. That's
You
what
have
I
a
need
cup
to
of
be
hair?
drinking.
Some
Yeah, I
high
have a
quality
cup, but it's empty.
H2O.
What we got, there, Biggie?
My usual Lipton iced tea, but there's no Lipton
Oh,
iced tea in this because it's empty.
Then we got a different bottle. The one was
No.
blue last week, wasn't it?
No. That's this old fart that still probably has.
Oh no, get rid of that. Burn it, burn it, burn it. We need to melt it.
Oh, there's like spider webs and shit on it.
Ew. I thought you
I
had
don't
a
think I
different
cleaned that out
colored
the
one.
last time I used it either. Yeah, it's probably garbage
Oh, that's
now, but the
gross.
garbage can's full.
All right, so we got Grim in the chat says same old bald light. Oh, by the way, guys, there's your look at what I'm drinking tonight. See if you can guess what it is.
I'm pretty confident in my ability to guess.
Well, yeah, because you were there when I was asking for it.
Well, we were all there when you were asking
No,
for
not
it.
everybody here. Not everybody was here.
Well, I mean, yeah, not everyone, but
I also don't
anyone
have-
else
hey,
could
you
just
keep it up. I
just
don't have
tab
to-
through it all.
You keep it up. I don't have to give it a point value.
Fine. No, I'll keep going. I don't give a damn.
All right, so what are you guys drinking out in the chat? Come on. This is part of our chat interaction. I want to know what is your guys' beverage of choice tonight? Again, it does not have to be alcoholic. It can be whatever you happen to be drinking at the moment. I do not necessarily promote drinking alcohol. I just happen to enjoy it.
We do not condone the act of drinking alcohol, but if you want to, do it.
Exactly.
Unless you're underage. That's not cool. Unless your parents say
I
it
have no idea
is.
what Steam wanted, but Steam
Which if your
wanted
parents say that, you got some pretty cool parents.
It also depends on what area of the country you come from and what your background is, depending on when you would start drinking.
Or even different countries. If you go to like
Italy?
England and you can go to England and if you live in England, your parents can take you to a bar. You can sit at the bar as long as they order you food. They can order you an alcoholic drink too, and you can sit there and drink it. There's not a damn thing anyone can do to stop it.
Cool. My parents used to take me to the bar all the time when I was a kid, but we weren't allowed to sit at the bar, and we had to leave, I think, by 11.
Oh.
But yeah, we were allowed in the bar. Just couldn't drink.
Shit. I remember back in the day when that was our big thing Friday night after the football game. We had it from New York State because you're allowed to drink over there when you were 17.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like if you go to Italy, I do believe they drink when you're really young. They let you drink wine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess nobody else is going to. Our chat seems to have died. But yep. So 1,000 points if you can guess what I'm drinking tonight, because I'm somebody's got to catch up to Cletus.
Eventually.
I'm sorry, unless somebody starts donating, they're not catching the Cletus. I mean, I can start giving away 20,000 credit freaking points, and it'd still be hard.
It's still not going to make a difference.
Well, is it Heineken?
Yeah, and the thing is what really sucks is it just being in the chat doesn't count anymore because I don't think my stream boss is working again.
Oh,
Not my
that's
stream
dumb.
boss, my cloud bot. Oh no, let's drag that out of there. I hate it that it does that. Somebody type in the points thing, see if it's working.
I think I did it right.
I think you did too. I don't know what is going on with it. I might have to have them reset it.
What, you gotta have them reset it?
Yeah, I think they might need to clear my thing and re-put it in. I don't know.
That's ridiculous.
Oh my god, stuff with Cletus. Does anybody want to know what his points level is right now?
It's got to be north of like 40,000 now.
You're not being generous enough.
60?
75.
60,000.
Still not generous enough.
80?
Wow.
73,470.
Jesus
good.
Christ, man.
Donations,
Neat.
man, they get you points.
Christ, you keep going, you're going to be able to buy his channel from him. God damn.
Matt MPG sitting at 25,060. Miss Formula at 15,925. Texas Beach Bum, 11,850. DIY Misfit Mechanic, 11,770. Pilot, 8,152. Old Car Auto Guy, 7,312. A lovely bunch of coconuts, aka Big E, is sitting at 4,282. Yeah, he's like 70,000 points ahead of you, Big E.
Yeah,
And you're still in the top 10.
Hers is latched to shrink over the next few weeks because she may very well be incommunicado.
Who?
Is for me.
Oh.
Yeah, they sent her dad home from the hospital Tuesday. Basically, told him to set up hospice care with terminal lung
That's
cancer.
never good.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. Big E, you're 7th. Desiree, with 3,030 points, is sitting at 8th. I don't count me because technically I'm sitting 9th. Chris would then be theoretically 9th at 2,725. And then Grimm's Auto Service rounding out the top 10 at 2,075. Runner-up for 10th would be Michigan Mechanic at 2,051. Hank the Meat Man, which I think was in here earlier, he's at 1,400. But yeah, I don't know. I might have to look.
Pilot not make it on today?
I haven't seen him.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know what's with the points thingy. I guess maybe I'll try to figure it out after today's live stream. If not, I don't know when.
Take exit 235.
I don't want to take that exit, damn it.
South Dakota 273.
That's when you just push the detour button.
Detour! Local strip club, here we go.
It's not even a detour. It's how retarded this stupid thing is. It's a Garmin GPS.
Ew.
Because there's a little curve in the damn road.
Yeah.
So they jump you off an exit and put you back on the get-on ramp because it's straighter.
That's funny.
Ow.
For shorter mileage.
That's
wow. Funny. You would think they'd have it figured out by now.
Figured out.
Nah. Better than Apple Maps, making people drive into the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make people.
I'd
It's
love
just.
to call them up. Says, who's the dumbass that come up with this idea of this being truck routes? Why would you send a truck off the highway, stop at a stop sign, cross the frontage road, and get back on the interstate?
South Dakota 273. Then take the ramp ahead.
I don't want to.
Let me try this.
Why? Because jumping off the ramp and getting back on saves exactly 1/10 of a mile on the goddamn route.
Yeah, but then slowing down and speeding back up, you're actually going to lose time.
Yeah, you're going to lose
I
time
wonder
and
if
gas.
YouTube changed something, and that's why it won't do it anymore.
Well, I know they were and like I said the last time we was on last week, I know they were changing their live stuff. I didn't know I never looked at it. I still haven't, but. They said they were changing that. I got the email. Like I said, I haven't looked at it because I don't do lives at all, or haven't. But yeah, they said they were changing some stuff about it.
Yeah. Let's see, tools. Anytime within the past year. That was totally last year.
Yeah, they got all these ideas on different shit to do that's supposed to make it, better for them. They ain't gonna do a damn thing for a driver.
Nah.
Other than they're changing the split sleeper and something else. But I don't know why don't they just make it simple?
Because that's too easy.
12 hours on, 12 hours off. Easy as fucking hell. And let you pick, and break it up if you have to into 2 6-hour periods.
Yeah, everything comes back to they want to know my username and streaming site, and then they will look into it further. There's nothing that looks like I can just do
the thing.
Yeah, do on my own.
Says he has a 75 Olds Cutlass. Second owner in my shop right now. Nice.
Ooh, sweet. I always love the 420, the 442s.
I like
Any
the
of you
Cutlass
guys Ram
all
Charger
together.
fans?
Oh yeah, Ram Charger is sweet. Talking about the one that you can take top of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, them are sweet.
Let me go see if I can find this again. Then one of y'all, I can figure out who to do it where you want it. Sean, in your thing or in the
Send it to
chat group
Chevy.
to be able
I
to
mean,
share
it's
it
to
up
Chevy.
on the
Send it to
screen?
Big E, because if I start opening up too many things, it gets all screwy on my end.
Just
Put it in the group chat, let Big E pull it.
yeah.
Yeah, the Facebook group chat.
Alright.
Actually, no,
See if I
send
can
it to
find
him
the picture
personally.
again.
Send it to him personally, because there is stuff in the group chat that I don't want accidentally popping up on the screen.
It's fair enough.
Because somebody can't
Hey,
can't look at who
someone
he's
sent
sending
me,
things to.
here is the best, most revolutionized window cleaner you're ever going to see in your life. So, well, that's cool. Hey, that's something new. We'll share it with Sean's group for the yeah. I forgot to watch the video.
What
Well,
about what about the one before that one, Chris?
the one before that? I don't remember the one before that one.
Oh, that was worse. Not worse in my definition of what I don't want to see, but worse as in what shouldn't be in a public group chat about a business.
Was it a recent one or an older one?
It was recent. It was right before that one.
Oh, that one.
It definitely would demonetize my freaking live stream.
Oh yeah, like that.
And once it goes up, I can't make it disappear. So there's no delay where I can accidentally hit. Stop! Censor.
Sean's gonna be figuring out somehow to put his thing on a 25-second delay just so you can catch it like they do in TV.
Right? Which would be absolutely horrid for trying to do a live chat. I already have it set so that way the live chat is as close to real time as I possibly can make it. So if I had to freaking delay that, oh my god, do you realize how freaking hard it would be to hold a conversation with chat?
Quite.
Yeah, the show would be over. Everybody be like asking questions in your
And I'm already done.
type chat. Yeah, and we're done and gone. They're like, what, are they ignoring us now? They're not answering the question.
5 minutes later, they realize that we're gone. Yeah, that would be horrible. No, that's not what I wanted. YouTube Studio. And they friggin' changed where everything is at now, so it's hard for me to find the settings and stuff to where to add moderators and stuff. Here we go.
Actually, I could probably do 2 if you wanted.
See, it says Streamlines is in here.
How do you improve a Buick Roadmaster station wagon?
I don't know how.
Take the wood stuff off of it.
And wood stuff
Even
was
better
freaking
than
cool.
that.
That's what made that freaking. See, and that's what freaking car companies need to do more on, but they did it so freaking crappy.
I wasn't a fan of the fake
The old
wood
Woody station
look
wagons were
stuff.
freaking awesome. The ones that actually used real wood.
Oh yeah, that's been a while.
That was the Ford. The Ford one had that.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
The
the
one
one
you
you
could
can
freaking
afford
fold
it,
down the
wasn't
freaking. They had seats that folded sideways in the freaking rear hatch area. I mean, you could sit in the back hatch area and still have seats. Not that anybody used it. We just freaking crawled back there and just hung out back there. No
well, in a lot of
seatbelts,
the
no
old
nothing.
station wagons, it's like in the Caprice Classic and stuff. Even they would have a rear-facing seat, so you have a
Yeah.
third row that faced rear.
Right, but we also, like, most of the time we never used it. We just crawled back there and chilled back there with the seat
Sure.
folded down.
Well, you're talking back before everybody wore seatbelts.
Well, yeah.
back before it was mandated.
Back when
Right.
we
All
used
I
to
can say
freaking
about
sit in
full-size
the.
station wagons,
Back when we used to sit
Wait,
in the.
way in the
the
back,
back
of
of
a
trucks.
station wagon gave
Not
you a
even,
young
how about just in the bed of a
appreciation
truck without a
for
cap on it?
girl
Just hanging out in the bed
swimsuits.
of the truck. We used to do that all the time. Run down to the fucking grocery store, all the kids would pile into the bed of the truck.
Yeah.
Never thought of it. Just went and did it. All right, let's see if this is working now. Exclamation point. We'll see. If not, I will have to look into something further and actually contact them because yeah, that's annoying. Why are you gonna have a feature that I can't use?
Yeah.
Oh. But I never have an issue with it doing it on Twitch. Twitch is always there. YouTube's been a dick ever since I first started using Streamboss.
I typed it as well, just to see if
I saw.
had to capitalize it, but I don't think that matters.
No, I don't know. I mean, we did this. I've never had any of these programs work reliably, but yet then they want you to pay for them. It's like, why would I want to pay for stuff when I can't get the stuff to work in the free version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is for me to pay for Streamlabs to be able to get a lot of the cooler features, it's $19 a month. Means and the thing is like I said before, this stream, unless people donate, does not make me any money. And I'm not saying that I need to make money, but
They're well to spend money.
Well,
You
yeah,
wanna
but
make
I mean,
it
the
at
thing
least-
is,
at least break
running
even.
Just running,
Yeah.
just this computer alone that's sitting next to me that you see here, there's like probably $1,600 into that thing, if not
Yeah.
more. So and that was a necessity to be able to upgrade enough to be able to run the editing software to make the videos.
Well, and that's with you building it. If somebody
yeah.
else built it, you'd really had some money in it.
That video
Oh,
I
yeah.
just put up, right? It's been up for I don't know what 3 weeks.
The dishwasher one.
Yeah. It's been up for what?
It's been
3 weeks?
what?
You put it up
week?
last week, right?
I don't know. I put it up a little while ago. It has
Put it up
been,
last Saturday.
Anyway, so it has made 16 cents.
Oof.
16 cents. So, I mean, even if I didn't spend anything in parts to make that video, let's say I had all of those.
Oh
parts
boy,
already
I
figured.
got that too. How about that, you fucking asshole?
God damn, where's the censorship beep?
I know, right?
Retarded prick.
Chris,
Getting
road rage
worse.
filter. Engage.
Boy,
My
man,
mute
you were
button
going to
don't
mark
work.
this one for kids, wasn't you?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, big kids. What's the old Toys R Us commercial? I'm a big kid now.
I'm a fucking big kid now.
Mhm.
Hey, there you go, Big E. You should have them now. You can do
No,
the
no,
station
do you
wagon
know what
first and then
happened?
do the other
Do you know
one.
what happened? All the Toys R Us kids grew up, and then the Toys R Us had nobody to freaking sell toys to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not our fault that they didn't graduate with a class and produce adult toys, right?
Hmm.
And not them ones that you find at them weird corner bookstores either.
Adult Toys R Us.
Adult Toys
what's
R
the,
Us.
What tells us the remote control car company right now? It's got this so
Traxxas.
big with it. Traxxas.
Yeah.
Well, they had Traxxas
Yeah, that-
cars there.
Yeah, I mean they should have followed more along lines like but
No,
they need to
needed
make
to
stuff
start
bigger.
selling. They needed to start selling like Kubotas and excavators and dump trucks and.
Oh my
No, screw
god.
that. I mean, I'm thinking something go-kart size that you put your best buddy on when he gets
Yeah.
drunk, but you
What
can
do-
still
what do
remote control it. Take him out there in the backyard and roll his ass off.
Every single time that you pass a construction site, come on, you can't tell me that you wish you could just go play with them like you did as a kid in the sandbox. Come on,
Yeah.
let's let me dig a hole.
Yeah, you
I
guys
just wanna
already
move
started.
dirt.
I just let me
I just want to
contribute.
move dirt from one side to the other. Just let me do it. I did it as a kid.
I
Buried my
I ain't too
matchboxes in the
ashamed to admit it.
sandbox.
Every time I go and visit the grandkids, I go on their sandbox with them, play with their matchboxes. Here, check this shit out. You know what the great fun is to teach 6, 7, and 8-year-old boys how to get that little bucket and a little bit of water and some of that dirt, and then they make this real nice smooth mud thing that, it's almost like making a blacktop road like they do out there on the highway where
Right.
Daddy works. Here, hey, you got the white hat on, you're the boss. Smack him alongside the face. Splat! Well, now you got to go wash it.
The only problem is when you dug up the boulders that were kind of elongated shaped and kind of brown.
That's when you
And
learn
your
to
mom
play
comes
away
out
from the
screaming about freaking
doghouse.
letting a dog and the neighbor's dog in the yard.
That's where you exclaim, darn, we're building roads today, not timbering. Who laid the logs in the middle of the highway?
Oh my god. That's funny. He laid the logs.
Did those
Good
come through,
Christ.
Big E? Those two pictures in your
Oh yeah,
personal
finally.
messenger?
Let me see. Facebook. This thing. That thing.
So how do you improve a Buick Roadmaster?
My god. Like that.
You mount it on top of a former NASCAR race chassis with an setback LS engine.
Well, it helps if we can see it.
And make it street legal.
Give me 2.2 seconds, god damn it.
The Corvette's faster than you.
Hey, time's up, damn it. We already come out of the store with a 6.0 liter, so quit talking about 2.2.
Oh,
I like that one.
And there's
That's
the Ram
sick.
Charger that somebody built on a NASCAR race chassis, and they are both street legal. My buddy posted them in his group today.
that's cool.
That is pretty cool.
At first, I thought you were just talking about, putting the Impala front end on the road.
No,
People
technically
used to do
that engine is not set back for a NASCAR chassis. That's exactly right about where it should be. It's just the firewall's further forward.
Yeah.
On that car than where the NASCAR chassis firewall would be.
Mm-hmm.
I've built enough freaking stock car models to know exactly where that engine should be sitting in that chassis.
I told my buddy he needs to find out details on that Charger. Did the guy leave it four-wheel drive or produce it all-wheel drive?
Oh, what?
What exactly did he do?
I think it's too low for all-wheel.
Yeah, it's probably
that Ram
two-wheel.
Charger?
That'd be awesome if he'd have built that as an all-wheel drive. Could have figured out a
It
way
looks
to
like
do
that is a NASCAR truck chassis.
That I cannot tell you for sure. I'm not positive.
Look at the rear bars coming through the back window. That looks
The
like
bars
a
don't
stock.
go that far back on the trucks, though.
Yeah, you sure?
No, I'm pretty sure, like, that bar is going all the way down to the base
It
of the,
goes all the way
the
back
cap
to
there.
the back. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the bars on the trucks, they run to the, hang on, wait, we've got the
disappear-
power of the internet right here.
Yeah,
what the hell do they call that
before
now?
they
Camping Truck World
disappear
Series?
underneath of the tonneau cover-ish, but they actually go all the way back to that rear if they don't have the body on them.
What the fuck?
You gotta put stock
Whoa,
car.
whoa. What the hell is this and why haven't I never heard of it?
What is it?
That is a rig with a big-ass wing.
You haven't seen those?
I mean, I've seen the Pikes Peak trucks. I don't
No,
know
they have
about
a
them,
whole
like,
series.
racing
They have
these
a
things.
video
Like, they're
game.
great.
They have a video game based on those trucks.
You?
They have semi truck racing on like ovals and road courses and shit. They've had them since like the 90s.
Wait a second, where is it? I mean, I know about the European shit like this.
Yeah.
These ones don't have wings though, like that.
Some of them do. Depends on what series.
Not these ones. These
Okay.
are all like, like the
That's
Caterpillars driven by
That's the
Henry the
European
Styrian.
ones. You got to remember, there are other, just like NASCAR and Australian V8 cars. There's different series, and just because, so you got to look at the chassis.
That's a car.
Yeah, it's definitely a
naturally. This is the this is a CAD model.
It also depends on what generation too. So that might be an early '90s body. You got to look at the depends on what generation chassis.
Well, what does it say? Asphalt late model Midwest.
That's a lower series.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at
That
a
looks so out of
Midwest
proportion.
chassis, they're
Yeah,
oh,
that
wait,
does
I
not
see
totally
look
now
good.
different
because
from what a
it's
NASCAR
69.
chassis is too.
Yeah.
I mean, my
Oh,
asphalt
I wonder who
Chevrolet
bought this
model's a
truck.
Hall
It's
chassis.
definitely
It's-
not Cletus McFarland.
Oh, there's more than one of those trucks too.
Oh, actually, this is actually a good picture because you see it literally goes right.
Right back.
Well, it
behind
doesn't
the rear
go like
wheel.
it doesn't. Well, it goes into this area. If we go back to the CAD model.
The CAD model was wrong.
Well, I
There was a
mean,
better picture of
well, you could definitely tell that this is where the fuel cell would be, and it goes to that general area.
Yeah.
But
There was a better one.
I mean,
that
again,
was up further.
holy crap! Can you say torque?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be doing the wheelie, but he's only got one up in the air. You can still see the sticker on the tire, even.
That one never touches the ground.
Yeah, clearly.
Pinky out.
Doesn't come off the ground until he lifts his foot off the gas.
Nah. He's going to that buddy shop with Street Speed to get a wrap. He's showing this is how I want it to look.
There was a nice one that was up higher. Wait, go down.
Going down.
What's that one right there?
What?
Over to the left-hand side first. Row at the top there you got.
It looks like a
Those bars
model.
weren't there yet.
That is a model.
It is a model, but those models are still based off the real thing.
Well, there is still none of the roof bars
Yeah,
or
the
whatever
roof
the
bars
fuck it is they
yeah.
call them. The bed bars.
Yeah, they're not in yet.
Something like that. That looks neat.
It is.
You know, I probably have better luck just... Let me see.
Have you guys seen that show on Netflix where they take like supercars versus like these shit boxes?
No. Wait. No.
That is... That's a car.
Ooh. Yeah.
Here, let's fix this.
What's that one right there?
What, this one?
No, up. Right there.
Right here?
Yep. That looks like a truck.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it looks like a truck, but it doesn't look like...
Yeah, that's a truck one.
Yeah, but there's no way the fuel cell will just be there. It doesn't look like there's enough support for it. I mean, enough support for it, but not enough support to, you know, contain it in an accident.
That's a truck chassis, though.
Well, yeah, it is, but... I mean, anything can be a truck chassis. I mean, Christ, they had that fucking...
What's the one next to it?
Here you
Shit,
go.
where
baby.
did I find this one?
Right there, right there. Right, up. Right, down, up.
Oh, shit, now where'd it go? No, I think it went up.
Goddamn
No.
Google.
This one?
Drop off the what's in the
No,
cup.
other side. Down. I don't know where it is now. I lost it. But the original one was a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series chassis. So try looking it up that way.
Yeah, that's what they call those. Now it's fucking... They change everything every so many years.
But those would have been the early ones, which I think is what they would have probably bought. They probably would have bought an earlier one.
Yeah, like Cletus's truck. Oh, Christ, that's way back when they were still like square. Like, well, it was before this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that one. Man, Cletus is making news all over the goddamn place.
Right?
Like, dude, they never even had trucks like this in the NASCAR games. It was always like that. They were always just like they didn't say Chevy on it, but they all just looked like, you know, the Chevy 1500 NASCAR truck. Well, whatever the fuck.
There's some straight up tube you can look at.
Do I
when you
want to
get
look
there,
at
Big
it?
E.
Now, what'd you do? Send me something else?
Yep. Something more personal.
Wait, before you
Whoa,
click that button,
hold up.
look at it on your phone before you...
It's safe. It's a race chassis.
Oh, yeah,
Nope.
he sent 6 photos.
Built in
Oh, there
December
we go.
97. It's a Lachlan Racing Products chassis that was built for the 98 racing season.
Hang on, I gotta close out of this to open it up, so I'm gonna... I'm gonna stop
For the-
sharing.
The
while I
Brett
do this.
Boldine's Candy Racing season for 1998
For the truck series.
Oh, shit. No, mother.
for the Cub Series.
No,
Mother
we're looking for
trucker.
truck cars because we were looking at that roll bar that goes all the way out the back, and I want to say that that was a Craftsman Truck Series chassis that they used. Oh, hold on, I gotta.
If you're able to zoom in on some of these, it'll help too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could have been maybe because that one goes all the way back like that too.
Yeah.
Yep. Ties in the frame right beside the fuel cell.
Right. Whereas I think the truck series it ties into the top of the suspension for the rear.
Yeah,
So,
I think
maybe
so
it is that
too.
one. Maybe it was
I
just
mean,
a
they
stock
could
car.
have. They could. I mean, it could. That bar could just terminate there, or they could keep extending it through where it connects to down to the frame, like it does on this.
No, like
And
if
inlets?
you look at the truck series one that you had, there is a hoop for the suspension for the rear tire, and that bar ties in right there, and then it has a second bar that runs down to the rear. Like I don't think that one's it there. That CAD drawings I don't think is it.
Well, no, this is literally off the BeamNG forums, which is that game that I play.
Yeah.
You know,
Just
this
put
one
roll
where you can
cage.
just bend
Look up
shit
roll
beyond
cage.
recognition.
Look up roll cage, not chassis.
Might be able to deduce something from this picture if it actually showed the goddamn picture. I hate how Google does this now. I just
You can't
like
just
it
click
when
on a
you can
view
just like
picture.
right click
I
on
wanna
it
see
and
the whole
go
article.
view image.
Yeah, I want to see the image, not the whole fucking article.
I know, right?
Should be able to right click a view image.
I just right clicked in, open a new tab, open a new window, open an incognito window, save link as, copy link address. Oh, open image in new tab.
What's
It's so
What's
tiny.
good about that tube that I sent you?
No, it's not good enough. It's got the tonneau cover
You
on
can't
it.
see anything because it's got a firewall there.
And a tonneau cover.
Yeah, and that guy.
Freaking,
Oh,
You
what's
guys
this?
can come put
No,
you guys can come
that's
put hands on that one.
yeah, but we're trying to find different examples too. I mean, that's a great view of it, but we're trying to find,
Now there should be one from the front and the back as well, where you can
right,
zoom
but
in
it's still
and
the
look
same
at
car.
it.
We
It'll
can
let
see
you
where the
zoom.
tube goes. What we're trying to see is where the tube goes on a stock car truck. We're trying to compare the difference between
I mean,
the trucks
if
and
we
the
could
cars.
find some images of, trucks that have got, well,
What's that one?
what, this one?
Yeah.
It is
still
not a
on
NASCAR.
And the body's still on it.
Yeah. What the fresh hell is this?
That looks like a Jeep Comanche.
SCCA. Excuse me. That is a truck?
Yeah, that's a
Jeep Comanche.
That's a Jeep Comanche with a roll cage. Goddamn.
Hey, if you guys want a Jeep Comanche, I know where one is right now.
I would have had
Compact class.
I won't have one now because my ex best friend had one, and it just would remind me of shit I don't fucking feel like being reminded about.
Mm.
Nice vehicles though. Pain in the ass to get parts for.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
They share just not enough of the Jeep Cherokee. Like it's weird. The body is still welded to the frame on the Jeep Comanches. You can't take the cab off of them, which makes them a bitch. Are we trying? Is there anything enough left of that truck to classify it as a truck?
I don't think so anymore. Like, this is a full-size truck, and this is what's left of this.
I think that's about half a truck.
I think so too. What did it say? Jeff Bodine? Oh yeah, that was a bad accident. I think he survived though, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. He's actually retired, living in Florida now. His brother Brett just retired 3 years ago.
Everybody's retiring. There's nobody. I think there's very few people that still race in NASCAR that I would know. What's that?
Don't
chassis
they have?
Right there?
Don't they have the cutaway trucks like they do for the Top Series?
Well, I don't know. That was a Fox thing. So unless they were racing the truck series on Fox Network, then they probably don't have it.
Darn. You may have to do a poll with that chassis, Sean.
A what?
The gray bar sent on the trailer. Do a poll. What engine? What do I put it together with? Because that's mine.
Oh yeah.
Put it together with duct tape and glue.
I should say that's one of mine.
That sounds weird. I don't know.
I think we'll have to explore this some other time because there's just
We
too
need
much
a little bit more
shit to sift
research
through.
before we come back and whatever. All right, so ooh, here's a fun one. What's wrong with the truck? Chris, do we have any update on the Ford?
That's what's in the truck.
Oh, what's in the truck? Oh, we don't have any. Oh, you know what? Actually, we haven't done that one in a while. Chris, what's in the truck?
Apples.
The same old usual, and he just nailed it.
What do you say? Apples?
No points for that one?
You didn't have an opportunity to give a point.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even get an opportunity yet.
Dang.
You answered it too quick. What was the answer? Was it apples?
Yeah.
Besides, I can't get my Streamlabs shit to work in anyway.
Well, I need
Yeah,
extra
will be the
points.
point and offering points.
It's not like you need them. Every time you
I
answer
know,
questions
right?
directly or wrong, you lose points.
Up in the States.
Sean could almost do 2 polls.
Huh?
I said you could almost do 2 polls. This thing's running so dang slow. Look, we'll get there. Okay, and there's the other one that just went to the house.
The white one.
That only has, and
The
if
one
I
that you
can
tried to get
find
race
the-
fuel for at the pump gas.
Still haven't gotten them. Oh, there they are. Hang on, let me fire those up. And then this, and then do this, and then
Push the button.
that, and then go back to it.
Yeah, that one's pretty. Stick a Chevelle body on one of those.
The front looks so weird. Like, it sits so high.
Because you're used to the car of tomorrow ones with the front splitter.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, when it gets going, I'm sure these things make it
at
down for
speed,
it to
that
stick
front
into the
nose will
track.
come down.
But, yeah.
The arrow will push that nose down. Plus, there's no engine in that most likely, so it's going to sit higher anyway. Look at how much space is in there. Look at how much space.
Yeah,
is in that
like
fender.
you got this right here, and then you got this. Like
When that
normal,
engine is sitting in
not
there,
normal.
when that engine is sitting in there, that fender should be sitting almost on top of that tire.
Oh,
Then
it's
when
an ARCA
at
car?
speed. At speed, that should drop another 2 inches.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that car's sitting about 6 inches high in the front.
Mm-hmm.
ARCA cars are 9 out of 10 times retired.
Yeah, they're retired, well, former, NASCAR top tier cars.
Aye.
They just use like detuned engines.
Yep.
Well, not even detuned, but they're
They're detuned. They're just not. They're nowhere. near
they're just tuned to a different spec. They don't make like 800, 900 horsepower like the old unrestricted engines used to.
All right.
I would love to see, like, it doesn't have to be at like Daytona, but I just want to see what those cars can do. Like, no hose bar, like no restrictor plates, no nothing.
That would
I
be
mean,
sweet.
not even like no restrictor plates. I want to see like what they can get those engines to do.
Today.
Yeah, today. Like,
But they still have to run a 500-mile race.
yeah,
Because you
like,
can get these engines.
but you can
do a
make as much
freaking
horsepower as you want, but you still gotta finish.
Exactly. And that's the difference. Is that was what made NASCAR freaking awesome. Is it's how much horsepower it can use stuff and still make them reliable enough to run 500 miles before they break.
Yeah, I mean, you got like 600, 700, 800 horsepower at anywhere from 8 to 9,000 RPM.
They were making more than that before they freaking nerfed them. They were making 900 horsepower.
Do you guys watch that Ford versus Ferrari yet?
No, not yet.
No.
It's okay.
I like that one with the Indy cars that was a while back.
Rush.
Yeah, that one was good.
And those were F1
I don't
cars.
remember if I've seen that one. I think the last.
I wanted to
racing
watch
movie
that one,
seen
but I
was
never got the
Days of
chance
Thunder.
to.
If you can get the chance to watch Rush, do it. And make sure, A, you're watching it on a good screen, and B, 5.1 surround sound at the minimum. If you do not have a good surround sound, you're not going to do that. And it's got to be, like, it can't just be 5.1 surround sound. It's got to be, like, crisp, clear speakers.
I've got a good surround sound system. I don't love it. It's a Vizio or
I
whatever.
had two DVDs that I used to test every single sound system that I got. One of them was the original Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
I would play that scene where they're coming into actually, it was 3 movies that I would play. The original Fast and Furious, I would play the scene coming into that first race where you see all the cars coming into the alleyway.
Yeah.
I would play from the beginning up till there. And then the other one that I would do is Gone in 60 Seconds.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
I would
Nicolas
do
Cage.
the Bring Tally, the beginning of that one. And then I think also part of that was to set up my TV, because I think the beginning of that one had the color correction.
Yeah.
Thing you could go into to do the color correction.
Oh, back on plasma TVs and all that?
Well, yeah, way back when that was composite video with the red, blue, green, and then you would do a beginning setup to where you can adjust your color display so that way you would have true color.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like over or under exposed.
Yeah, exactly, or too much blue, too much red.
Yeah, because I had a old CRT TV back in the day, and if the color was up too high, it would like bleed out everywhere.
Yep.
Looked like
It would look like someone was. I'm like watching TV, and it looks like someone like posterized it. If you know what I mean.
Hey, look, Antonio. He's been leaving comments. I've seen him. He's been leaving comments. This is the first time I think I've seen him in the live for a little while.
Oh, well, howdy.
But so I would do that one. I would do Gone in 60 Seconds. I would do the beginning of Fast and the Furious, and it would be the DVD versions of these films.
Naturally.
Because they also had the 7.1 surround sound actual audio track that you could click.
Mm-hmm.
I am doing well, Antonio, as well as one can be in this certain times of current boredom. But the other one that I would do was the NASCAR IMAX film. So I think this one was released mid to late 90s, but it was what they played in the IMAX theaters at like the Franklin Institute and different, science museums in the big cities. Because the sound in that is incredible.
I'm sure.
So I would use that. That one was another epic one to listen to if you had a really good, clear sound system. You just crank that sucker up, and if you had a really good sound system, you would swear that car was fired up in the freaking room next to you. The whole house would shake. I mean, if like I said, you had to have a clear sound system, otherwise it would break up. If you had a nice, good sound system, you freaking
see how many of the idiots got a bloody nose in the theater wearing the 3D glasses when the car lost its tire or something and it comes shooting out of the screen at you.
Oh yeah, yep, that was freaking awesome. But that was an awesome video. But yeah, the sound in that video is freaking amazing. But yeah, and going back to the other thing is, if you're gonna watch Rush, you have to have a nice, good sound system, because the sound in that movie is absolutely freaking spot on. I mean, it's gorgeous. If you have a good sized TV, dark room, surround sound, you can put yourself in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I'll
very
be
immersive.
right back.
So
I'm gonna go to the bathroom and get a
I don't really give a shit about the story in that movie. I mean, it's got a decent story, but what's good about that movie is just it puts you. It's very good at putting you in that space and time. To the point to where you feel
it's like watching some of them 3D movies, like a musical park where you're like on an airplane flying over the edge of a cliff and it drops away from you, or a roller coaster. It makes you feel like you're in it.
But the sound, like I said, the soundscape and the visualscape are really important in that movie, in Rush. So that's why I said, if you don't watch it on a really good crisp TV with a good sound system, you're gonna lose some of that immersion. Because it's not going to be able to replicate the sound enough to make you feel like you're there. Oh, yes, definitely lots of boredom, Antonio. and it does not build well with my ADD, ADHD, whatever the hell you want to call it, and my depression.
Well, if you are so bored, I have like 10 vehicles out here I'm working on. You
You're
come
not
down and
near
work
me, are
on
you?
some.
My issue is I have vehicles to work on. The problem is I don't have money to put into them.
Oh, I've got the money to fix these. I just don't have the time. As soon as I get them ready to sell, and even sometimes
I
before
have
that,
stuff
they're
that I can.
sold.
I have stuff that I can do on mine. Like I need to put the window regulators in the TA so I can put the glass back in the driver's side door. I have, the truck still needs that one trans cooler line. I have stuff that I can do with it, but there's the motivation to do it because it's not what I want to go do. Like, what do I want to go do? I want to go drop the fuel system in the TA so I can get it running and drive it. And I think Cletus froze. Or he's reading something on his phone. I can't tell which. I think he froze. And the truck, it's been such a long time with it being broken that it kind of don't have the interest right now to finish it. Did I lose everybody? No. Chris's screen's still moving. Just can't hear him. I thought Cletus left. But yeah, it's just it's lack of motivation. It's just the motivation to go work on them when they're just. I've lost the drive for the truck.
Your other issue that hampers your ability to go do that stuff doesn't help either from the motivation factor because, like you said, with the fuel system on the TA, you know what you'd love to do, you know what you want to do, and I'm sure there's things on the truck you'd like to do too, but
I don't have the money to go do it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, why bother? Well, why go to the garage? Because I can tinker, but I can't really fix nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have new parts to put on things, so it's like I'm just tinkering. And I just feel like I'm putting out the same freaking content, especially with like the truck. I mean, I could put out another video on the truck, but what am I going to do? I'm going to go up and pull the line, get a new one, put it on, it'll fire up and it'll move and it'll basically be ready to go. But I have so many videos on the truck right now that I feel like I'm just washed out with the truck. And I want to get the Nova done. But the problem with the Nova is I have to have the garage space to do it and to have that garage space just available. And I would have to completely clean that garage out, and it's not mine. So there's not having my own space and not having the money really kind of hampers some things. I can't bring stuff here to work on here at the house because I'm not allowed to. Specifically, as soon as she found out I had a YouTube channel working on cars, I was forbidden to do any car work at the house. Can't say that I haven't done some brake jobs at the house already, and I don't really give a shit. It's out on the street.
Have you done YouTube videos on it though?
No, not at the house.
Yeah.
I don't need to be kidding us kicked out of the house where we're at.
She shouldn't sweat it so much because you can tell her, honey, I'm not going to do what I did before. But what did you do before? Well, here's my channel. Watch this. I changed an engine on the street in the middle of the city.
Yes, I did. Pulled that fucking engine out in the middle of the fucking street with a cherry picker. Cherry picker, whole 9 yard, car up on ramps, pulled the engine out. Just that night, we just kind of closed the hood and pretended like there was an engine in it, yet the engine was sitting in the truck in front of it, in the bed of the truck. I just backed the truck back up to the front of the TA, and there was just an engine sitting in the back of it that wasn't there that morning. The next day, we pulled the other engine out, dropped that one in, and then that led to like 2 weeks of it sitting there because I had the wrong motor mounts.
Yeah.
And then we got it running, and then the transmission conked out, and then after the transmission conked out, then it wouldn't fire up anymore, which we found out why that was. Because my stepfather freaking didn't do a good enough connection in the wiring harness that he fixed, that I ended up having to go completely through. But I could, there's a whole saga with that car because I bought it.
That 400 in that car is ultra special because it was What's the most multiple things you've done to try to put an engine change in a car? Well, and make 1,000-mile trip twice almost.
You make 1,000-mile trip twice. Freaking change an engine in the middle of the freaking street. Change the transmission in the middle of the freaking street. Then haul this car all over the freaking place, not running.
Now wait a minute. You had to keep moving it in the street first because they said it wasn't running or something. They were going to tow it, so you had to keep moving it.
No. I moved it from my house down to my mom's house because my neighbors started bitching about it, so we moved it down the street. Well, then those neighbors started freaking walking down to the end of the block, and every time I worked on it down there, would call the cops. Eventually, I had to freaking move it because it got an orange sticker put on it. And then we had the truck lose its rear brakes while trying to rescue it from a snowstorm.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that one's a good video.
At least it was only the rear brakes.
What happened to the truck when the first time you did? Did you lose the engine in the truck? What exactly?
I bought the green truck to make this trip.
Yeah, no, it was a green truck. When the first trip you made down, you got down, was it Maryland or Virginia somewhere?
I made it somewhere down there. Was that 81 or 80? What's the one that runs all the way down through?
81.
Okay, so I was on 81 south. And we had crossed over. We were in the very long, the one that runs, is it Virginia that it runs like forever?
Yeah, Virginia's 300.
Yeah, we were just starting through Virginia, and it died. I know we were about 4.5 hours from home. Because I made part of the journey the night before. We stopped at a hotel. Hi, Brian. Stopped at a hotel. And in the morning, we got up and started getting going. We were like maybe 45 minutes into the trip in the morning. And the truck started losing power and eventually just died. Cop came over, we went and got oil, put oil in it, started it back up, and it made it another 3/4 of a mile and locked up and died again. Then called my buddies up in PA. We had to wait for them to come down to come get us. By the time they came down and got us, it was like 6 p.m. at night. We were trying to make it to the U-Haul place to be able to get a trailer to put on the back of their truck to be able to haul all of us back up to PA again. Their truck trailer hitch lights didn't work, so I ended up having to rent a full-size U-Haul. Though the whole time we didn't tell the U-Haul company that my truck was technically an extended bed with a aftermarket set of rim and tires on it, because if we would have told them that, they would have never rented us the trailer, because the trailer was not long enough. Got the truck up onto the truck fired up enough to get up onto the trailer. My wheels were literally resting on the rails, the outer rails for the U-Haul. Like, I had to go up over the wheel humps. Couldn't go in between them. I had to go up over them. And the front wheels, literally, the tread was sitting inside the rails, but the edge of the tire was sitting on the rails.
Oh, damn.
Because they were big mud tires.
Yeah, I was on the road when all that happened because you were more than an hour from where I lived at the time. I could have brought the truck and the race car trailer down and said, "Here, take the thing home."
The truck was also so long on that trailer that the center of the wheel was at the very edge of the trailer. So half of the tire was not even on the trailer. And we ratcheted strapped that sucker up to the front of the trailer so it wouldn't roll back. Because if it rolled back even a centimeter, it would have came down off the trailer. We almost couldn't get the one ramp back up into the trailer because one of the lugs from the tire was catching on one of the little perforated hole thingies in the trailer ramp. And literally had to kick it through so that way it would actually slide up in because the lug from the tire was catching on the ramp.
Damn.
Yeah, I have pictures of it somewhere. But yeah, it definitely, I'll have to share them to you, Big E. That truck did not want to fit on that trailer at all. That being said, though, if I would have been in that same situation with the brown truck, there would have been no putting that truck on that trailer at all.
Oh God, no.
There would have been nothing we could have done because that truck is even though technically it's the same size, it has bigger rims and tires on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the 4 doors instead of the 2 doors.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so if that would have happened today, we wouldn't have been able to get that truck home with a U-Haul trailer, which would have made that even more expensive than it already was, because that cost me the whole $1,000 I went down there with got spent. I also had to replace the engine in that truck and some other things, plus be able to make that trip again, which took me a couple months to do. We ended up going back down there again. This time we made it there and back. And actually less time than it took the first time. We also didn't rent a room the second time. We slept in the truck. Because, yeah, money. Doing that same trip twice cost a fortune.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, we had, but I mean, there was this whole struggle before that, because we bought the car. I busted my ass to get it up and running and driving. We drove it all the way out to Dayton, no nothing. That car was sitting for 6 years before I drove it.
God damn.
So it literally went from not running, sitting under a tree for 6 years, got it running, got a decent coat of, backyard paint on it, got the interior thrown in it, and drove the 1,100 miles all the way there. Or no, I think it's like 700 or 800 miles there, and then 700, 800 miles back. So like, drove it 800 miles. Hey, Desiree. Oh, you're here because of the Texas Beach Bum, aka Z Outlaw SS. I haven't had him on the show for a little bit. I haven't had him since he switched his name to Texas Beach Bum, so we have to get him back up on here. But thank you for joining. Yeah, so like we got the car, and the day after I got it, I drove it to work. At that point, it wasn't running really right, but you know what? Fuck it, I have a brand new Trans Am. I'm driving that sucker to work. It was also in the middle of summer, middle of winter. It was like February. There was like, it rained, it snowed like 2-3 inches that day. Now granted, I only lived like 3/4 of a mile from work. So I felt pretty okay taking it. I've driven my Nova. Thank you, Moose. Mouse ball, not moose ball. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Yeah, so I felt I was okay. It was only 3/4 of a mile. I would be okay. So I was leaving work that day, and my work has a big steep hill coming down to the traffic light. So I did what I used to do with my Nova. Drop it down from drive down to second as I'm coming down the hill. That way I can use the engine to keep the car from gaining too much speed coming down the hill. As soon as I dropped it from second down to first to come down to the actual like flat part to the light, the rear end... What? What'd you say, Chris?
Locked up on you?
No.
Locked up on you?
No, it did not. Now, remember, this is also a posi rear. I mean, a limited slip diff. So, I didn't have... one of the issues I had in the Nova is only one of the wheels was drive, so it would only slow the one wheel back there. Hey, gotta love Pete and Camaro time. But anyway, I got down to the bottom of the hill. As soon as I threw it in first, the drive shaft exploded.
Oh.
Here, we found out later that the person that put the drive shaft in didn't put in all of the bolts for the U-clamps.
Ow.
So as soon as I dropped it in the first, that reverse, like during drive, it's pushing into it.
Yeah.
Right. As soon as I dropped it down in the first, and it would put an opposite force on that drive shaft than if I'm obviously driving it.
Yeah.
Pop the straps.
And yeah, it just popped the straps and blew the drive shaft out of it and ripped the straps all up. It's snowing. I'm in the middle of the freaking street sideways at the bottom of the hill of my work. And I'm like pushing my Nova. I can push my Nova with 2 fingers. If my Nova's on flat ground, I can push my Nova with 2 fingers. It rolls that easy. This TA can't push it anywhere.
Forget it.
As soon as you turn that wheel to make any sort of turn, it's like it applies the brakes. Because because you're now fighting against that limited slip rear.
Yeah.
It just locks it up. So it took 6 of us to push this car off of the road and get it off to the side of the road in the middle of a snowstorm.
God damn.
And I also sat in that car for 2.5 hours waiting for someone to come help me push this car off with no heat and no insulation. Because the car's gutted. It has no, it had no heat, it had no insulation, it had nothing. And now the engine
you're like,
running.
oh, it's only 3/4 of a mile down there.
Exactly. I can deal with that. I mean, I drove the Nova for how long? I can deal with that. You know, yeah, so, you know, I didn't think that I was going to have an issue with it. I ended up getting a ticket for the car being parked in a snow lane.
Beautiful, huh? Honey hush.
Thank you, Desiree. Just kicked you out again there, stuff.
Oh, boy. That's okay. Won't last forever. Before you get too far, what is a snow lane?
It's not a snow lane. Emergency routes. When there is a snow emergency, you're not allowed to have cars parked on the side of those streets, so that they can keep them clear for
It
plowing.
is a snow disposal lane where they can plow the road
So that's
off.
where they push the snow at?
Yeah.
With the plows?
Well, where my car was sitting was technically in one of those, so I had gotten a ticket for it being there. Needless to say, I fought that ticket and won because I proved that the car was broken down and that we came back the very next day and got it fixed and moved. So I was actually at work that day, the next day, and during my lunch break, I went up to the car, jacked the back end of the car up, pulled the drive shaft out, replaced the U-joint that was totally destroyed, and put the new U-job strap, got that car up and running and moving during my lunch break that day, the next day.
Nice.
Thankfully, the person that I parked it at, let me use his garage to do the work in. And he had a really gorgeous 3rd-gen Camaro sitting in his garage. But, yeah, I mean, that car sounded really nice back then. Not that it doesn't sound nice now, because I think it sounds nicer now. But, it's one of those things is he heard the car coming down the hill. He heard it do the, But me and him couldn't push it off the road by ourselves, because it was me and him that tried the first time. But, yeah, so... that was the second day of ownership of that car. It was later that we found out that it was running on one cylinder had a collapse lifter, and another cylinder, the intake tube in the intake that came from the carburetor to the intake port, there was a fitting that's supposed to go to the charcoal canister. Well, that fitting was knocked off, so it was just pulling in straight, ambient air straight into that runner, so which means it wasn't pulling in fuel.
So you had a 7-cylinder.
I had a 6.5 cylinder.
A 6.5 cylinder.
Because, like I said, the number 7 cylinder had a collapsed lifter, and then the number 1 cylinder had the massive vacuum leak on the intake runner. We ended up replacing all of the rockers, push rods, and lifters in that car, and got it running. Replaced that messed up fitting in the intake. I think I just capped it off with just a bronze end cap. See you later. Oh wait, no, who's going? Oh, that sucks. The lost audio for Antonio. I always hate it when freaking the files get corrupted and shit, and you lose. Or you found out that you didn't hit record, or you hit record and stop like right after each other, and you got like 30 seconds of film, or I hate that. But anyway, so
Hey, there you go.
What?
Now, I was going to say, whenever you get to your what's wrong with the truck, you got some perfect pictures for that subheading this week.
I do?
Yeah, the ones I sent earlier when I was up there getting unloaded up there in Washington.
No,
that I put in the chat group earlier in the week.
I didn't see those, I don't think.
I sent them to you too.
I'll have to look.
The ones that would have made cats very happy.
Oh. All right. See you later, Grim. But anyway, so we got it all freaking figured out. I ended up also having to fix the steering column, fix the backup lights because they put headers on this car. And Chris would know this with the second gen Firebirds and Camaros. The rear taillights is controlled by the column shift. The column shift doesn't work when you put it goes from, it doesn't technically have a column shift in it, but the shifter down on the floor has a rod that goes up to the column that changes it in the column. Mm-hmm. And you have to disconnect that to put headers on these cars. So I could put the car in reverse and it wouldn't have reverse lights. So I ended up fixing that. I put a little micro switch inside the shifter on the floor to engage the rear tail lights. Fixed a bunch of other stuff. Get this thing running. In 6 months, I had replaced the interior, painted it, and got it running right, and drove all the way out to Dayton, Ohio. I did have an escort. We had an old friend of mine, no longer a friend of mine. She had her car, and a buddy of hers had a car that went up. They trailered their cars up. I drove mine. Mm-hmm. They had issues with their truck and trailer. I didn't have any issues with the TA. Mm. The only issues I ever have with the TA is I've got a vibration at around 75, 80 miles an hour.
Oh. Well, you know, as rough as those roads are in Mexico, what do you expect?
No, it was definitely, it's either a drive shaft vibration or a wheel weight. I never found out because I never had the car long enough on the road to fix that problem.
Yeah.
The only problem I ever had with that car when it was driving it on the road. A couple months later, I was driving around with a female friend, and I had just dropped her off home and was heading home myself, and the engine locked up. I had an oiling issue with it apparently, and one of the lifters dropped again. That's when we parked it. I pulled it out. I pulled the engine out. Chris has that engine now.
Yep.
And we went out and set about buying the 76 Pontiac 400 that's in it now. Oh, and all the hilarity that ensued after trying to get that one in and running. Which it's in and running now. It just needs that engine runs just fine at idle.
At idle?
Well, yeah, because the carburetor's way too small for it. So it's not pulling as much air at idle as it is when you open the throttle.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 200 CFMs too small.
Oh.
And so so when you open it up, it starves the engine and it wants to die.
What is in it? Do you remember?
650.
650.
Mm-hmm. 650 Edelbrock electric choke.
All right.
But it should have an 8 to an 850 in it. Most likely an 850. But again, the problem is I'm going to go fuel injection with it because for the price that I'm paying for a carburetor, a new carburetor for that thing, I'm just about halfway there to go fuel injection. Because the new like an 850 carb for an Edelbrock is like 400
$700
to 600
right now.
Oh, they're 700 now. Yeah, so then I'm basically right at AFI. Because I can get the EFI system for like 1,000.
I mean, you might as well say 7 to 750 by the time you pay your taxes and shipping on it.
All right.
You know,
Mouse Ball is exactly right. Going sniper with the fuel injection. Holly's sniper kit is what I'm looking out. What did Brian say? There are about $10,000 in and not yet running. It's time to walk away.
I think he's talking about his third gen Camaro they was talking about a little bit earlier.
Oh, yeah. I have a good bit into my Nova over the years, but I won't give that one up because it's got sentimental reasons. I mean, when you go out and go buy a whole nother body to save it, I have a whole second chassis sitting there because the first chassis is too far gone. Just gonna swap parts over to it.
Yeah.
Hey, when y'all need some more bodies or cars, whenever that time comes, let me know. There's
I
plenty down here.
need somebody to donate me a drivetrain for the Nova. I need a modern drivetrain for it. And we're talking, 6.0 at the minimum. I'm not going anything smaller than 6.0 in that car.
Get you that 6.2 out of the Escalades and Denali Yukons.
That's exactly what. Iron block LS.
Yeah.
Again, I've said this numerous times. My preferred engine of choice to go in that car, and this is strictly for the YouTube views and just the fucking sheer horsepower of it, but the LSA supercharged factory engines.
Come on, you know you want to make it electric.
No. No. You know what? Hold on.
I was waiting.
Hey, wait, did I hear a cuss word? And I thought I run potty mouth.
I know, that's worse. That's worse.
Yes. Be still, my Christian ears. They're burning up now.
Hey, that would definitely get you some YouTube views. It would get you lots of YouTube hate as well.
Yeah, I guarantee it. Well, I'll just put a teaser out that I'm going to make it electric.
Right.
Talk about getting demonetized from hate mail. They'd be writing YouTube. Shut him down! Shut him down!
But I mean, yeah. But again, the whole thing is money's my issue. I don't have any sponsors. I pay child support, so I don't have a crap ton of freaking money. And this YouTube channel, I mean, granted, I am absolutely flabbergasted. We're about to hit 2,000 subs on this channel.
Nice.
For me, that's
Congrats.
a struggle because I mean, technically, I've been here for a while. So I mean, this is the most subs I've been getting a month for a while. I was averaging about 25 subs a month. I'm now averaging around 40.
Well, and if you had extra time and were able to put more videos out, I bet you'd get even more.
Well, the thing is I do have, I technically have the time to go put out more videos. My problem isn't time, and that's part of why I switched to the job I did to now, is so I had the time. My problem isn't time. My problem is having the facilities and the money.
Ambition.
Mine's definitely time.
So I have projects. I just don't have the money to put into them. You know, the Nova's getting a full freaking, full restoration and an engine change, a drivetrain change. The TA is at this point just going to be put on the road. That's what I want with the TA. I want to drive it. So get it road legal. That's what the TA is.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys drive them up in the winter when it's like that up there?
My Nova was a daily driver. My TA is not a daily driver. I have daily drivers now. I don't need to daily drive the TA. When I was daily driving the Nova, it was because that was my only vehicle.
So you couldn't worry about the rest because that's all you had.
Right. But yeah, so the Nova was my daily driver for a while. You know what? I absolutely love that car. It was absolutely a ball to drive in the rain and the snow. It didn't matter. It was fun. And it's a fourth gen Nova. Nobody cared about them anyway. So it's not like it's a highly sought out collector car. Even restored, they're only worth like $5,000.
Yeah. Well, they're going to up in value down here a little bit. If you could find one that's fully restored, you can get one for about $12 now.
Yeah, but still, you're going to put way more into the restoration than what you're getting out of it.
Definitely so.
These cars are getting
restored. Two-door V8, all that,
Right. These cars are getting restored not because of selling them for a profit. These cars are getting restored because of the people that do fall in love with them.
Well, I would love to have my first car, which I never will because I won't ever find it. But maybe one day I'll find one like it.
It's
not
Nova. Junkyard Diggs. It's one of his buddies that has a yellow two-door fourth gen. I want to say it's not Nate. I follow him too, but he has a shit ton of cars, and his daily fun toy is a fourth gen Nova. He took it on the hot rodding tour and other stuff. And man, Mouseball, you are blowing up my chat, and I love it.
Right?
Well, you and Brian. I was just about ready to get off, and you guys just are blowing up my chat, and I have no reason to get off now. I always say, I'm here as long as the chat is going. if the chat dies, well then I'm not sitting here just to talk to myself. So like as long as the chat is going, I have no problems hanging out. Go back through here because I was talking without watching the chat. Yes, fuel injection definitely goes sniper. And the other reason I'm going sniper is because it should fit the air cleaner for the TA. That is the biggest thing. That's another reason why I don't want to go. The reason why the air cleaner is not on the car now, and the reason why I don't want to go with an Autobrock is because I would have to cut up the shaker system to get it to fit on top of the Autobrock.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that because this is an original shaker setup. And they're expensive
The
and rare.
sniper system is pretty much a self-tune and go as you drive it.
It is,
right?
and
you
it
got a whole lot of
also
computer work you got
it
got to
is
do to it.
yeah. It's a plug and go, plug and play. You just plug it in. You put in your O2 sensors, your electronic fuel pump and return system, and you go. It also has a distributor that works up to it too. That if you replace the distributor with one of their Holley distributors, it plugs and plays with the distributor and will set your timing as well. So not only will it control your fuel mixture, but it'll also control your timing.
Neat.
That is the direction I want to go. But it's money. And you got to have money to play, and I don't have the money, so I can't play at the moment.
I know I said it last week, and I don't know how easy it would be, but the old 5.2s for the Dodge Rams had the Holley throttle body injector or whatever. So I wonder if you could take that and modify it to fit on a Chevy.
Again, it's a matter of it having fitting. Well, it's a Pontiac engine, number one, not a small block.
Okay.
But number two, you'd have to use the Dodge computer.
You'd have to get the ECM
Yeah,
flash.
and the ECM, Dodge ECMs, they're keyed to the ignition switch in those trucks. So if you want to swap out the computer, you often have to swap. It recognizes the ignition key in those trucks. So it's a matter of having the whole thing, and that's way too much work. And again, I would have to destroy the freaking shaker to fit that carb on it. So. But yeah, it's in the long run, it's going to be easier to just wait and save up for that fuel injection system. I've already come to the conclusion. Like I said, I have the original carburetor for that car. It needs rebuilt. But again, by the time I get done rebuilding that, I'm still basically stuck in the same situation. I'm spending $500, $600, $700 to get an original carburetor rebuilt, and I still have the same.
And you got EFI.
Right. Another couple $100. I got EFI. I can have a remote start. I can have consistent fuel mileage, better fuel mileage, and more horsepower.
Yeah.
Because you can get more out of an engine with an EFI system than you can with a carburetor.
Oh yeah, EFI on the go. It could be like, all right, needs this much fuel, and the carburetor's just like.
Doesn't matter what elevation I'm at. I don't have to change it to the barometric pressure and engines with a carburetor, they run differently depending on the temperature and
altitude, humidity, you name it.
I used to play with the distributor. I mean, the carburetor on the Nova all the time. All right, let's see. Drove my 91 Pro Street Ranger as a daily for a year up here, and the rust issues aren't bad. Well, yeah, you have to keep them clean, and the biggest thing is not driving on the road right after salting. I mean,
you guys use like a rust protectant underneath?
If you're smart, you do. The Nova didn't have anything.
Yeah.
The truck will. When I get done the Ram, when I start doing the lift kit on the Ram and stuff like that, the whole underside of the car will get
undercoated.
That's a YouTube video by itself.
Yep. Well, that's several YouTube videos. I have no problems with an Autobrock. The best thing, and this is strictly being a GM guy, Autobrocks are really good for GM vehicles. The Chevy engines seem to run so much better with the fact that the Autobrocks have the smaller ports in the front that open up under low throttle input. and then the
Mhm.
bigger ports that open up when you go full throttle. Whereas Holley carburetors, they all have I guess they call them square bores.
Square bore, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically,
GM
butterflies are all
engines
the same.
run better on the like a style like an Rochester or an Edelbrock. And an Edelbrock is just a performance version of a Rochester carburetor, which is what comes factory on a GM vehicle. They're called spread bores. That's what they are. A Rochester and an Edelbrock is called a spread bore. GM vehicles run better on a spread bore carburetor for street use. I'm not saying that taking it to a drag strip that the Holley wouldn't be a better option. But for daily driving street use, an Edelbrock carburetor on a GM engine is a much better choice.
And the Holleys are more geared to the bigger displacement engines, just because of the fact you're moving so much more air volume.
Yep. If you're going to run a street vehicle and it's a GM, an Edelbrock is a much better choice. It just is. You know, and again, there's going to be fanboys of both, you know, whatever, but it just, a GM engine runs better on a spread bore carburetor than it does square bore. At street strip use. Now, you're going full on strip use, go with the Holley. You're going to be able to tune it better and get more fuel in it than you will with an Edelbrock.
And it's a hell of a lot easier to jet.
Yep, exactly. But it's going to be complete shit on the street. Trying to drive that car in the street is going to be hell. The gas mileage is going to be horrendous. And it's not going to want to run stoplight to stoplight, you know, at traffic speeds.
Yeah.
You know, and all of my vehicles, I don't build them to take them to the track. My vehicles are street use. So, having an Edelbrock was a no-brainer. But for what I want to do with the TA, making it a daily driver, and the fact that I can hide everything using the sniper underneath of the shaker, so I don't lose that look of the classic car. The Holley the Holley Sniper is a easy choice for that. I've seen the other ones. I don't like the other ones as much. The Fuel Tech and some of the other ones. But yeah. Let's see what else we got. I gotta have money to make money. Unfortunately, Mouse. He says I'll get the money. Gotta have money to make money.
Yeah.
Miss Formy is showing up. Hello, Miss Formy. And Brian, no way. He said the cow hood and put the shaker up for later. No. No. I mean, if I wanted a fucking cow hood on my Trans Am, I would go get a Camaro. If I wanted a cow hood, I'd get a Formula or a base bird. The whole, like, one of the most iconic things about the Trans Am is that shaker hood, and no, I'm not happening. I'll wait. Besides, by the time I put the money into a cow hood and, you know, a different carburetor, I could have bought the fuel injection system and kept my damn shaker. It just doesn't make any sense. Gets 160 horsepower from 89 cubic inches. Wow. I've never seen people use Flexi. I've seen people use Pour 15 or Rhino Liner, but never Flex Seal. I mean, that must be a new thing.
Flex Seal is kind of like the rubber undercoating you can buy, but it's a little thicker and goes on a little better.
Yeah, but it's a matter of, is it actually going to stay? Especially
I don't know,
heat.
and it's more expensive.
Yeah, and then you also got heat.
Yeah.
I think it does pretty well though, from what I've seen. People like
I don't know. I think I would trust using a rubberized undercoating or Pour 15. Factory bellied, no protection. Da, 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 da. Again, Edelbrock carbs, it depends on what application you're using them for. He said that Edelbrock carbs are not very good.
Yeah, it seems like everybody says don't lose the shaker though.
Yeah, I'm not losing the shaker. That's. I mean, you realize how much I paid? Like the one that's in this car is the factory one. This is the one that goes off of the 403 Olds. The gold one that I have now, I paid a fortune for, just so it fits on the Pontiac 400 that I have. I had to track one down because I can't use the factory black one that I had because it was for 403.
Mm-hmm.
And Mouseball, I'm not doing things because everybody else does things. If I did that, I wouldn't own a 4th gen Nova. Polycarbs aren't what they used to be, though. Nothing's what they used to be, period.
Yeah.
Again, spread pores suck on things that aren't spread pore. GM cars love spread pore carburetors. Again, depending on the application and what you're using it for. GMs love spread pore carburetors for street use.
I can go outside right now. I've got an 84 GMC Jimmy that I haven't started in months, and I promise you, I prime it up a little bit.
Does it got a stock Rochester, or does it have
stock Rochester?
Oh yeah, you can never top. I mean, if you're factory optioned car, and you're still running all of your factory accessories, there is no reason to change from a Rochester. That thing will start up every single time. Now, you start playing with it, changing cam, changing, heads, things like that, then yeah, go with an Edelbrock, because if you're still using it for street use and you're still wanting it to fire up every day and run at idle and at low RPMs for regular street use, but you want to play with it on the weekends, go with a Rochester. I mean, an Edelbrock. Now, if you are strictly staking it to the track and you're going to freaking run that thing wide open throttle, get a Holly. But if you're going to use it like a regular car, a Holly is not a good option for a GM vehicle because it's going to run like shit. It's going to run really good like a raped ape at freaking wide open throttle. But anything else, it's going to suck.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the old school dual fuel block Hollies.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Mouse says Edelbrock is a Rochester.
Yeah, it is. I told you, it's a performance version of a Rochester carburetor. Because you can't really you can rejet a Rochester a little bit, but a Rochester, and all Rochesters aren't created equal. Almost every single Rochester is built for a specific engine application. So you can't take a Rochester off of your truck and stick it on a car, because they're all tuned for the engine that they were put on from the factory.
Yeah.
I can't even okay, so I have the Rochester off of my Pontiac 400. I can't even go get a Rochester from another Pontiac 400 from a different year and put it on my car because it won't run the same. Because the engines were tuned differently.
Mm-hmm.
They're tuned from the factory for the engine application that they're put on. Which is why an Edelbrock sometimes is better, because you can tune those.
Well, this one, I don't race it, of course. It's a 4-wheel drive truck, but it's a beast in the mud.
Right.
Plenty of torque. It's not fast for anything.
Hey, Jesse, I didn't see you pop in. I would love to stick with a carburetor, but for what I want to do with the TA and everything, it's cheaper in the long run for me to go EFI.
Well, and I'm sure it's more efficient.
Yeah, it's going to be more efficient. I'm going to make more power. And for the amount of money that I'm going to have to dump into the original carburetor to get it running. Now, if my original carburetor was doing just fine, okay, if the original carburetor was running just fine, there would be no reason for me to switch to the EFI.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have to replace the freaking carburetor, I might as well go EFI.
They're talking about how slow vehicles are. I've got an 02 Super Crew F-150 with a, was it a 5.2 liter? No, it's 5.9 liter. Anyway, that thing is slow. It won't get out its own way.
Mouse says I need to get Beach Bum in here. I have Beach Bum in here. I don't think that video didn't do super great. Like, I was expecting it to do a lot better because of having a bigger YouTuber in here, but it didn't really pick up that much. It was fun to have in here. He's definitely a hoot to have in.
Mm-hmm.
But like, as far as analytics went, it wasn't a big jump. Exactly, agreed. Don't go Cal. Well, I don't know why politics are ending up in my chat, but okay.
I don't know. I just get past that stuff.
Definitely keeping the hood stock.
No, you always have a big turnout when I'm in here, man. You gotta keep
Yeah.
it
It's about the same. We got 10 people in here right now. That's pretty good.
And I tell you, I haven't hit 500 yet. I'm close to go, but I'm up to 408 now.
Well,
So
if anybody in here is not subscribed to Cletus right now, go ahead and go check him out. Geez, I only have 115 horsepower. How much did you think the Nova had with the inline 6 in it?
Less.
That's what my Nova had originally.
It had decent torque.
That thing would start up great, though.
No, it fired right up every time. Well, no, it didn't. No, the inline 6 was the one that part of the reason why I got nicknamed Christine. Because you talk bad about it, it wouldn't start. That was a single barrel inline 6, and it was the one that had the combined intake exhaust. Intake, exhaust, and head were all one piece. No, the exhaust bolted to the underside of the intake and head. The intake and head are one piece.
Oh.
And the exhaust bolts to the underside of the intake.
Weird.
Oh, yeah. You gotta think about that, though. Where's all that hot air going? All that hot air is literally leaching straight into the intake freaking air coming in. It made 95 horsepower.
Antonio said he's still listening, so nobody keep don't be talking about Antonio.
What? Nobody's talking about
Antonio said he's still listening, even though he's not watching right now.
That's fine. That's fine.
Nah, I'm just messing with him.
It's a podcast. You don't have to listen. I mean, if I could, I would put this on.
You don't have to listen.
Well, yeah, you do have to listen.
You don't have to watch.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of us idiots up here on screen, like staring at the screen. That's
Words.
about it. Let's see. Where was I at? 115 horsepower. I have a Bronco. What year Bronco? Oh, no, that's right. He's the one that... Jesse's got that freaking baby blue Bronco. The white interior. I don't care if it's slow. That Bronco's not meant to be fast. Just because you have a car doesn't mean it's got to be the fastest thing out there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure O.J. Simpson proved that the Broncos weren't made to be fast.
Different Bronco. He's got like the round original body Broncos.
The cooler ones.
Yeah, when they were nice looking.
And when they weren't just a Ford F-150 with the significant portion cut out.
All right. Yeah, just because you have a car doesn't mean it needs to be fast. I mean, I didn't enjoy my Nova.
84 Bronco 2.
I didn't
enjoy Ranger.
I didn't enjoy my Nova because it's the fastest thing out there. It was fun to drive.
Oh yeah, you get to feel everything. You feel like a driver, even though you're going.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
you
a
feel
Mazda
everything.
Miata.
I mean, you could drive literally by just what you felt in the seat of your pants.
I don't know if you ever drove a Mazda Miata. Boy, they're not very fast, but you feel like you're going fast.
Well, yeah, the things are practically a go-kart.
Right?
Dude, I was at the store once, and I had one of them pull up beside me. I had to actually look up and over my door to see it.
Wow.
I'm not joking. I just see some people like they're way down like this in their sports car or whatever the hell it is.
If you put the TA next to my truck, that's what it feels like. You're literally sitting in the TA. You're literally sitting less than 3 inches off the ground
Hmm.
in the TA. It does not. You are literally dragging your ass on the ground.
Not far away from it.
But even the same thing. If you were, the sad thing is though, if I were to pull my truck up next to yours, Biggie, I'd still be looking down on you.
Well, yeah, you got the off-road edition with how big of tires?
33s. I can go
I don't even know how
35s.
big they are. I just have 265, 65 R18s. Besides
Those
on that
are-
one corner
Those are
where I have
31s, I
a
think.
265, 70 R17 because I have to go put a bolt through the freaking sidewall of that
I
tire.
think I think your size. I think that might be a 30 or a 31.
Hang on a second. Let me see.
Something like that. I think a 31. Yeah, sounds about right. I just sold a set of 33s. They were 12.5 inch wide.
That's what I have on my truck right now. 33 by 12 and a half
They wouldn't
inch.
balance out. I guess they had a dead spot from sitting so long.
Yeah, I have brand new. Well, they were brand new when I put them on the
31.6
truck. The truck hasn't really driven very far on them, so. But they're mud claws.
Yeah.
Mud claw, MT mud claws, and oh, I love them. Freaking snow
Well-
is not a problem with those things.
I'll tell you, if you don't want to spot in them that won't balance out, make sure to drive it enough. I paid a lot of money for them tires.
There's
they
over
said-
$1,000 in tires sitting on my truck right now, like 1,200 in tires.
That's yeah, I had about
Yeah, you have
I had
$1,200
almost
in tires on your
tires
truck.
I had, but
Yep, on my truck there's 1,200 in tires.
Well, if I wanted to get 4 brand new tires for my truck, which I really don't want to because my tires are fine, besides the one that's got a hole in it, it's like bare minimum $600.
if you get on Google and
You
type
gotta don't replace just one of them, replace 2 of them. Keep the other one and put that other
the same axle.
older one on your spare.
Well, the thing is, I can't.
Oh,
My
that's right, it's
spare's
the
a
wrong
different
size.
size. My spare's a 17-inch wheel,
Right.
but my alloys are 18s.
Right. But yeah, if you're gonna do it, replace 2. Don't replace just one because those
It's
tires.
not even worth replacing 2 because my front tires are worse off than my rear tires are. I think that's because I never told any of the shops that when my truck was there, the numerous number of times, be like, check the tires, rotate them if you need to. And who knows how long it had gone before I bought it.
But yeah, the reason why I'm saying that is
the tires are lower than the
because-
rear tires are, and the rear tire is the one that had a hole. Well, the one that has a hole in it still.
How
So-
old is that rear tire that doesn't have the hole in it?
It's about the same as the other one.
My point
Well,
though is how much tread is left on the one that didn't pop.
I don't know exactly,
But it's significantly less than a new tire.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean,
You
I
have
don't
to
have
replace
something
both.
to tell me how deep the tread depth is besides old George Washington
If you did not just buy those tires, and you have one blow, you have to replace both on the same axle.
Well, if I'm replacing both of the rear tires,
And you should replace all 4 if you're gonna, especially also because you have 4-wheel drive on that truck.
well, yeah, I have 4-wheel drive, but I don't use it unless I absolutely have to, or unless I forget to shut it the fuck off and then drive it the next day and wondering, where's that weird humming noise coming from? Oh shit, I'm still in 4-wheel drive.
Mine
Oh, that's
automatically
good
goes
for
back
it.
to.
Come on now. Especially when you got 60, 70 miles an hour. It's great for it.
Oh yeah,
Right?
totally.
Blow
I
that
accidentally,
transfer
I did
case
like
sky
a
high.
3-point turn once in 4-wheel drive. I'm like, oh shit, that's good for it. Throw a
Dunk,
fucking
dunk,
TV
dunk,
shaft or
dunk.
something.
Yeah, in the Ram, if you end up trying to turn with 4-wheel drive on engaged, you just hear thunk 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 as the one tire starts skipping in the freaking, because again I run mud tires, so they grip the road pretty well.
Yeah.
And yeah, you definitely can tell when you're in all-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. But yeah, so if you're going to replace the one blew out, you're going to have to replace the other one in the axle. You said your front ones are worse than your rear ones, so yeah, you might as well replace them all.
I don't want to replace them all,
this is
though.
what happens when you
getting-
own a vehicle.
I'm gonna get rid of the thing by the either.
Then don't replace
you know,
any of them. Just leave
Just
it on
said
it.
you can get a good deal on 4-wheel parts, and that's where I bought my tires at. So yeah, I believe it.
You know,
They're still gonna be expensive though.
yeah. Just at that point,
Well,
no,
yeah,
just keep
no
it.
shit. It's
But
a,
he's
it's a big.
planning on getting rid of the vehicle. There's no point in putting 6 brand new tires on a vehicle. The other thing you could do is sometimes the shops around you might sell used tires.
Yeah,
You
they
probably-
might, but
you
hell,
might be able to find
the
another
one
used
shop,
tire.
there's only one shop in town, I'm pretty sure, that does tires, and it's down. Well, you can't really
You
see,
might
but
have
it's
to go
that
another
way
town
the
over.
distance, but no, I won't have to go to the town over. But the place is so goddamn busy, though, is the problem.
Call them up.
And if I call them up, they're gonna go
Yeah,
look,
but
and they're gonna be,
you're most
you
likely
can
going to
look, and I'm
find-
gonna go over there, and they're not gonna fucking have anything.
Yeah. You're most likely going to find places that sell used tires in big towns.
I mean, I already found like a decent set of 4 tires for $40. I was like, fuck, they're 265s, they're Wranglers, and I take them home, and I don't know what the difference is, but the ones I have on it, I'm pretty sure are Wrangler SRA, because it says Wrangler, Goodyear Wrangler, and then
If
it's
it's
got
the same
SRA.
size tire, it doesn't really
Alright.
matter.
That's the ones they put on the new Rams and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
but the ones they
what kind
picked
of
up
truck is
are Fortitude HFs, I think. I don't know what the fucking difference is. It's the same size.
Well,
What kind of
as
tire
long as
is
you're
it?
switching all 4, it shouldn't matter.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
but the
you got,
tires I
there might
picked
be a
up-
load rating,
no.
but you're not hauling or putting heavy things in the vehicle, so you know that's really where you have to worry about making
Yeah,
sure.
What was it? I think the tires I picked up. I don't think the tread is as good as even my fronts. I don't think.
What do you mean, the tread on them?
Yeah, the tread depth, how much is left.
All right.
I don't think I don't think they have as much tread as my front tires still. But I figured, I can take it to a shop, and for $16, they'll just throw that wheel on there.
The problem is
balance
if you have 2 different tread depths on the same axle, it'll cause the freaking spider gears and the pumpkin and stuff to not be happy.
Well, yeah, because then as I'm driving in a straight line, it'll constantly be, making up the difference.
Exactly, and it's going to really chew up your rear end. And it's not like on my Nova. Like if I were to do that on my Nova, I would have stick them on the front end, and it wouldn't have mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not powered and they don't interact with each other. It doesn't care whether one wheel is spinning faster than the other by a little bit. But on that rear axle, you're definitely going to want to watch that, and your front axle is the same way because you have the independent front suspension.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you're definitely gonna.
Oh, do they make a truck anymore with the solid front axle?
Yeah, they do.
They do.
I think the Dodges still solid front axles.
I don't think so. I don't think the new ones are anyway. Well,
No.
now they're not even Dodge anymore, right? They're Rams. So
Well, it's still.
Oh yeah,
Dodge.
they're their own company now.
I keep forgetting to look at the chat. Brian, my car is not a 75; it's a 77. And they definitely did not make 155 horsepower because the 305s only made 125 horsepower. See you later, Mouse. Probably gone already. By the time I saw
So
it.
apparently the only truck that has a solid front axle now is a Ford Ranger, but it's not a. It does have a solid front axle, but it still has independent front suspension. So I don't know.
That doesn't make much sense.
Exactly. I'm like,
It might be like a special version of it that's got the solid front
Hey,
axle.
Pilot's here.
okay.
One
let's see
comment.
what-
No, holy shit, he is.
And Jesse says the Rams uses solid front axles. There you go.
So, yeah, I was gonna say I thought so. I have a 77, Ryan. Actually, I own 2 77 bodies. I don't know if you can call either of them a car at this point.
Pilot said he's been here all night.
I didn't even see him talk.
I haven't either. I looked.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
thank you for being here. Miss your smart aleck comments. You add shit to this freaking live stream, even if you're not up here. Any Ford above F150 is sold mono beamed axle still. But I think we're talking about the 4-wheel drive versions of those trucks.
Yeah.
I don't know what a mono beam is.
I
I don't claim to be an expert in all things.
it's
automotive.
not. How do I word it? Well, it's kind of like a live axle, but without transferring power. Like it's not powered, but there's like a beam between the two wheels, and they both, are connected to it. Well, the
Right, but
spindles.
the one wheel isn't affected by the other one as far as they're not connected internally, are they?
Internally, I don't know. Hang on, let me see if I can find something. Like on like the 30s Fords, that's technically a beam axle.
Okay. Yeah.
You hit a bump, you
It's got two spindles on each end, but there's no actual drive shaft.
There's no
actual
like
shaft between.
drive being sent to either of the tires.
Right. Okay. Where we were talking about, when I mentioned solid front axle, I mean an actual pumpkin with two solid tubes running out with the axles inside of them. I mean, obviously, I see what you're talking about as far as it just being, geez, most front wheel drive cars have, I guess, what they would call a solid beam axle in the back, where it's just a bar that runs between the two wheels, and then but there's no pumpkin in there. There's no internals.
No, there's no differential. Right. There's no drive shafts. There's no nothing.
It's just a simple bearing and all that. Yeah, there's nothing actually driving the wheels.
Okay, I've never, Antonio, I've never heard it called a mono beam.
I've heard mono beam before. I don't know what it is, but I've heard it before.
I've never heard of it either.
Yeah,
but
he's saying it's basically what we would call a solid axle, but we've never. I don't know where you're from, Antonio, but we've never called. I've never heard them called a mono beam.
No, we just call them live axle.
Yeah, live axle or a solid front axle, a solid axle.
Technically, it wasn't live axle referred to. Like, hang on.
Oh, apparently mono beam is a pretty common term.
Yeah.
Not from where I'm from.
I mean, like I said, I've heard it before, but
then again, I don't always know the technical name for things.
Well, if you get it in anything like
just have the shop name,
stuff like that, they're called mono beams. Like if you look, they're all called that.
From what
the Ford 250s, 350s, 450s.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not saying he's wrong.
No, I was just saying that's where that.
Just saying you've never heard of it like that.
Right, exactly. I'm not a Ford person, number one, and number two, I'm also not a textbook mechanic. I learned how to do what I do by doing it. So I might have shop terms for things, but might not have the textbook term for things.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school for engine technology, but not full car technology. So anything that I know, I've either had to learn because I've had to deal with it, or I learned because I ran into a question I couldn't answer.
Anything on YouTube yet?
Huh?
You haven't learned anything on YouTube University yet?
Oh yeah, I have.
YouTube University. YouTube you.
I learn a lot on YouTube. I really do. Because you can't remember everything. Even you don't know everything, you can't remember.
You're still going to be like, there's stuff that I've looked up on YouTube more than once. Because I looked it up and learned how to do it once, and then it was a long enough time between the time I had to do it again, I had to look it up again. One of them that I've always looked up again is like when you're flaring brake tube lines. Always double refresh, because God forbid you screw up one of those. They're a pain in the ass because then you have to cut it off, and if you've already like bent the whole tube to where you need it to be. You know what I mean? And then you don't want to have to shorten it because then it may not go where you want it to go. So I've always looked up certain things more than once. I mean, like I said, I don't claim to be a know-it-all. I don't claim to be, just if I feel that I'm right, I'm going to say that I'm right. And if I'm wrong, well, then I'm wrong. And okay, now I know, the correct answer.
Sure.
I don't claim to be an expert in anything. If I know something, I don't mind passing it on.
Yeah.
And I'm a backyard mechanic. I have no problems admitting that shit.
Are you sure you're not an expert in computer lights?
No.
I know, right?
Why? Because of all the lights here?
Nah, yeah, I'm just...
Because your computer is brighter than my future at the very least.
Well, it's better than the fans that were in it. Couldn't stand the fans that were in.
Better than the fans I have.
Oh yeah.
Christ, my case looks like it came out of freaking 2002.
Your case looks older than that. Your case looks like a 90s case. I hate to tell you this.
I mean, at least like it's all black. They didn't leave anything bare.
Yeah.
That's like the only saving grace I have with this thing.
I've YouTubed a couple things here, and that's more for an idea of what I'm in for when doing certain things I haven't yet conquered. Yeah, agreed. If it's definitely something new that I haven't done before, I'm definitely going to go look it up, and just to see, because you never know when you're going to get halfway into something and realize you don't have the tool you need for this because you didn't realize you were going to need it, or because it's freaking manufacturers like to put in stupid shit.
Well, and sometimes somebody knows a better way. I mean, you could have done it 100
Oh, yeah.
times. They found a way to do it quicker or easier.
Right. Well, and then sometimes it's not always quicker and easier because you look at it. We'll go back to my my video for the heater core for the truck. 100 some freaking videos are out there about cutting these heater cores and then reattaching them with some rubber line. Obviously, I proved that's not necessarily the. I mean, it's great when you had the old ones that you couldn't rotate. But now that they have the heater cores where they have the rotating assembly, it's easier just to put them in the regular way without cutting them. I mean, you got to think about it. I can put that in I think I did it in less than 6 seconds. Taking the heater from the heater core out of the truck, everything apart, just to slide the heater cord in less than 6 seconds. It's going to take you longer to cut it and fit all that stuff in there and then reattach it with a rubber hose, and it would be to just throw it in there. But yeah, I mean, YouTube does have, good information, but you also still have to use your common sense and realize that this is actually a good thing. I mean, that's just like my my door spring hack. I mean, if you've got the tool, use the damn tool. This is for the people that don't have the tool, don't see any reason to go out and go buy the tool to do it once. Yeah. And that's just how that is. I don't know. It says you got to use your own common sense and realize. I mean, there's like the third and fourth gen F bodies with the fuel door. I would much rather drop the fuel cell and save my trunk floor than cutting a hole in my trunk floor. Yeah. But yeah, there's plenty of videos out there to show you how to cut a hole in your trunk floor to access your freaking fuel tank. I know plenty of people that do it. Personally,
because they're lazy.
Huh?
Because they're lazy.
Well, yeah, I don't feel it's. I don't feel that it's the correct way to do it. If it's the easy way to do it, sure, but I don't feel like it's that's what you should be doing. I will take the time to drop the damn tank. Yeah. That's just me.
Cut a hole, fix the tank, and then you have to weld the floor back up.
Well, the funny thing is, okay, my Nova is the same way, and so is my Trans Am. You have to drop the tank to get to the fucking fuel sending unit. For me to get, I mean, I have a manual fuel pump up front, but for me to do anything with the float level and all that, I have to drop the tank in my car. What am I gonna do? Cut a hole in the freaking floor of my trunk to access it? No,
probably don't put it past some people now. Some people
I know, but it's lazy. But Chris was not waiting very long. I heard him pop in.
Nope.
You were still setting up your camera by the time I was moving my mouse over to go open to click you in. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing shit quick. I don't mind cutting corners, but when you have to really cut into your vehicle to be able to do something, I think that's just, I don't know.
Yeah. That's pretty permanent.
Yeah, exactly. The whole point of being a good mechanic is disassembling and taking something apart. Not, be like cutting your front end off to remove the engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quicker. But does it make it right? I mean, yeah, I did the the thermostat in the Cavalier. It'd be like me cutting through the firewall to get to the thermostat easier. Because the thermostat's on the backside of the engine.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now that would be one hell of an interesting video by
Oh
the
my
time
God,
you get all
I
that
think-
dash shit out of the
my
way.
God, that shit would go viral.
Right? But I didn't even think. Okay, I know people that cut the fucking the bed of their Dodge Rams to get to the freaking
You know, I've seen that to get the sending unit.
yeah. Do you
Yeah, I've seen that,
realize
actually.
it's 6 bolts? 6 bolts to lift the bed up off of that truck. Okay, and then the other thing is well, the bolts rust. Okay.
PB Blaster.
PB Blaster, let them soak, pull them out, and if they're that freaking rusty, most likely they need to be replaced anyway. Rip them the fuck out, put new bolts in it. You know, if you got to drill them out or whatever, okay, do what you need to fucking do.
Side
And
grinder, whatever it
If
takes.
the bolts
But-
bolts are that bad, most likely the bottom side of the bed needs some attention to it too before it all rots away.
Exactly. You know, I
How's
mean,
it
I
clean
guess
the
at
frame
that
up
point,
while you're at it?
is a hole in the bed of your truck. But see, you kind of want the bed of your truck to be solid. You can't haul shit in it if it's got a big ass hole in it.
Hey,
I
I
did
had
a,
an old square body that I got hired every winter to salt some lady's driveway. Because that so much had 2 big holes in the side of the bed right in front of the tires. I could pack that shit down when it went out. All I did is slide back and forth up the driveway to throw it out. Instant salt spreader.
Uh,
I had to do. I got a video series. I guess it's 4 videos on a Chevy Malibu Max.
Yeah.
It's a 05 model. I had to drop the tank pretty much in every video I did on it. I dropped the tank the first time because there was a check engine light for a little sensor that sits on the back of the tank. But when I put it back in, I guess I don't know if I broke the line or what. Anyway, I broke the line, so the little thing for my fuel gauge, so it didn't work. So I put it back down, and then I put it back in again, and I forgot to hook something up, so I had to pull it down again, and it just, I don't know. I guess I was trying to do it quick, so every time I did it, just I had to pull it all the way back down. I guess I could have just cut a hole in the floor. It would have made it easier, huh?
Yeah. Who was it that said, Jesse said, it's okay to put a hole in the floor if you're willing to put a very nice access panel in. I don't give a shit what access panel you put in it. And most of the people that put there that are going to take the time, that are going to cut a hole in the floor, are not going to take the time to make a pretty little fucking hinged, sealed access panel. They're going to cover that, they're going to bend that shit back down and fucking cover it in freaking duct tape and be done with it.
Or what's this? I've seen it.
The other thing I don't understand. Okay, the other thing I don't understand is to
JB welded or silicone.
JB Weld,
Right.
yeah. I was watching one. They put JB Weld around it where they
Right.
cut the hole
But
bigger.
to pass PA inspection, you cannot have any open hole into a body cavity.
Leading the passenger compartment.
Yeah, into the passenger compartment.
So what about all the ones with rusted floors and stuff?
You're technically, as soon as you have a hole in the floor, you can't pass inspection. So if they're getting by, it's a lick and stick.
That's why we just get all the rusted up ones down here, huh?
Yeah, as soon as there's a hole in the floor, if you don't patch the hole, then it's not legal. Trust me, I had that battle with the Nova.
Some brilliant retards do.
I had that battle with the Nova.
Put the thing on a lift, grab a sheet metal patch, put it up against the bottom of the floor with a hole, and then run some sheet metal screws up in it to hold it in place.
Yep, you see that all the time up here.
Wow.
Yep.
But the
Don't
thing
step
is, like
in there
I said,
barefoot.
if you have a Firebird or whatever and it's somewhat decent, you're cutting a hole in the floor right above the gas tank.
That's not where you want to have a hole in the floor.
If I'm going to have if God forbid there's a freaking fire that starts in that gas tank, where's the first place it's going to come up through? Your nice little access panel. It's going to come right up into your freaking cabin, catch your carpet on fire, and your whole car's going to go up. You know, I don't care what you do. You have a hole right above your gas tank. Not to mention, even if you don't have a fire, okay, if your gas tank isn't sealed correctly or you have a hole in one of the lines, where is that fumes going to go? Those fumes are going to come right up through your little freaking access panel into your car. You're going to light up your freaking cigarette one day and your whole car's going to just go boom.
You know, there's some
It's
cars
gonna
that
love
actually
that
make.
foam pad.
There's
Yeah,
some cars that actually make an access panel.
right,
from the
but
factory.
again, from the factory.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that access panel is pretty engineered to be fuel, airtight.
I'm sure.
Mhm.
I guarantee you your little cut up hole in the back of your freaking F body is not airtight. It just
Well, I don't know.
It makes
It
me.
worked just fine for Hooper.
That was a movie.
Oh, come on! Isn't the old movies and stunts just like the internet? Hey,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
true.
sure.
Look, they did it.
How many times did the General Lee actually drive away from those stunts that they were talking about in real life? Jumped that freaking gorge and come out the other end and drove away. Mm-hmm. We all know what happened to the actual Trans Am that made the jump in the freaking first movie.
Yeah, look what happened to that artificial Challenger in John Snyder's new tribute movie.
Right?
Made a great lawn dart.
Oh yeah. I mean, even the one in the Trans Am, that car never left that fucking dirt road. It did not drive away.
Nope.
That was the end of that stunt car.
Why were frame stiffeners invented? Watch a stunt jump once.
Right. He says if it's a race. In fact, actually, unfortunately, Jesse, a race car is the last place where I'd want a hole in my fucking floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. It gets real ugly real quick.
Yeah, a race car is the last place I want a fucking hole in my floor.
That's why they got mandatory self-fire extinguishing systems in most of them anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I know a veteran in my town that had a hole drilled through the floor and the tank, and had a stick to check the. Oh my god.
Oh my god, that sounds
Hey, it
egregious. That's a
I
crime
bet
against
you he wore
they
overalls,
can't.
too.
They, like when I was growing up, you would see the guys go out to the fuel tanks at the gas station with the big metal rod.
Yeah.
Or the wooden stick to drop down in the tanks, check the fuel level in the tanks. Do you realize they're not allowed to do that anymore?
They aren't.
No, it's considered a fire hazard because that stick
Talking
then
about
comes.
the big plastic tanks in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they still do it down here for sure.
What, they stick the freaking wooden or metal?
Yeah, the
stick
people who
down in there?
deliver the fuel, they stick the wood, sticks down there that has a
That's
level.
delivering the fuel. I'm
Yes,
talking about
delivering
the
the
ones
fuel,
that actually.
not
I'm
measuring
talking
it.
about the
Right.
actual gas stations.
No, they have to have that sensor on there that
Right.
tells them.
Feeder route.
Because they're not allowed to have that, because they can't have that stick once it's pulled out be on the property.
Ah, that makes sense.
Because it'll be saturated with fuel and
It's contaminated.
well, not just that, it's a fire hazard because if that stick is laying there and ends up, getting, it'll go up.
Yeah, if somebody throws a cigarette butt or whatever.
Because I remember
And it's
used to
soaked with
watching I
gasoline
lived
and
across the
diesel
street
fuel.
from a gas. I used to live across the street from a gas station. I watched them do it all the time. And it was recently that I found out, they don't do that anymore. No, they don't stick that stick down there and check it anymore. They have some mechanism that does it.
Yeah, meter route.
It's called a Vita route. VEEDER.
Yep.
I don't know.
Basically, you go in, you it's like a cash register. I mean, you hit a button that says print, and it gives you a paper printout of every tank on the property, how many gallons are in it,
Right.
what your maximum capacity that it'll accept is for a dump, and oh, trust me, they're real fun when you reach that level, and then you set the alarm off because it thinks the tank's overflowing, but you ain't got to that point yet. And man, you can really make the vapor pipes howl like hell. Been there, done that. Easiest job ever had. 5 minutes to fill the tank, 16 minutes to dump it.
Way back when we got a store up here. It's like a gas station convenience store. It's called Stewart's Shops. Well, corporation is Stewart's Shops. They're based out of Saratoga, but my mom was assistant manager of the one over here. And she told me, like, of course, they had the stick, and she'd have to go out there every day she was there, and she'd have to stick it in the tank and, make sure, how much gas is in there, make sure there's not water floating, water on the bottom of the tank because gasoline is lighter than water.
All right.
So they'd go out there and do that every day. And now they're switching to all this fucking computerized crap.
I wonder if the computer can tell if there's water in the bottom of the tank still.
Might be able to.
I'm pretty sure that feeder root can.
Yes,
I think
it
it
does.
tells you all that stuff. Tells you the percentage
It
of
does.
water and all that.
Oh,
And I mean, and I was delivering fuel 20 years ago, and I mean, it did back then.
all right.
It did tell you exactly what the percentage of water and what the gallon versus gallon difference was between the water and the fuel that was in the tank.
Because if it's over a certain amount, they're supposed to shut the pups off and have it pumped out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it is 12:20 at night. Well,
Yeah.
in the morning.
In the morning.
So, as much as I would love to continue this conversation longer, I would like to get at least some sort of sleep, and I have to chill. I can't fall asleep right after this live stream. It takes me a little bit. So
Sleep's
I am going
overrated.
to call it a night and
Well, hell,
hang
why
out
don't you
with.
go ahead and go to bed? You got just take off, do what you got to do, get your sleep. We'll got you back. We'll keep it G-rated for you. We'll just keep on going until everybody passes out.
Right?
Yeah, believe what he says. Sure.
I wish,
Yeah.
but if I hang out here any much longer and I don't touch my computer, it's just going to shut off on you. It's just going to go boop, gone. But yeah, we'll catch you guys here next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, here on this channel. And if you guys remember what we were talking about, you guys can bring it back up and we'll continue this conversation, or we'll start a new one. Who knows? We kind of just do our own thing here and let the chat go where it goes. So I want to thank Big E and Chris and Cletus for hanging out with me tonight. And all of you guys in the chat, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you next week. You guys
See you
want to say
guys.
goodbye?
Bye.
Ciao. See y'all.